Smith is into the end zone. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. Harry Smith punches it in from 12 yards away.
Snapping the ball to Chavez. Chavez to the right side. She'll use her legs. Chavez down the far boundary. Chavez into the end zone. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. Marcelina Chavez.
Tonight's WFA Pro Game of the Week is presented by our premier partners, Aid Nation and Pam Health. Welcome to the 2025 WFA Pro Playoffs for first round action between the number 1 seeded Pittsburgh Passion and the number 4 seeded Mile High Blaze, all coming up next right here on Sportsnet Pittsburgh. Hello and welcome here to West Allegheny High School. Thanks for joining us on your evening. Damon McDermott, Jack Ridenauer here with you. Susie Cool down on our sidelines. We'll hear from her momentarily, but it's plain and simple. Winner of this one moves on to the National Conference title game for Pittsburgh. Damon, it could be a third trip in the last 4 seasons for Mile High, a chance to go to its first ever conference title in the National Conference, but they're going to have to get through this really tough Passion team.
Yeah, storied franchise. They're used to being here, and they want revenge and get back to that and then go all the way to the title game, and they're facing an unfamiliar foe. They've never played Miles City, so we're in for a great matchup here tonight.
Let's take a look at some key players to watch for both teams. And for Mile High, it's a player that has been instrumental in many years of success for the Blaze, in Kimberly Santa-Steven.
Santa-Steven's coming into this game, and I think she's going to have to do a little bit of everything here tonight. We'll see her throw the ball a little bit, but she can be a really good runner. We might see some wildcat formations here tonight, and again, they're going to have to try to punch that ball into the end zone, because on the other side, you have a high-scoring offense when it comes to the Passion.
Speaking of the Passion, they are led by one of the best players in the entire WFA Pro Division, and Makai Chavez, last year's National Conference MVP, and looking to take her team to the National Conference title game after today.
And what else can you say about her? She can do it all. Just like we said on the other side for her, she can run, she can throw. Right now in the league, she is 4th in passing, 4th in rushing. Tonight you're going to see her call her own number multiple times in the red zone, but at any time she can throw it over the top for a deep ball as well. Watch out for Marcelina Chavez here tonight.
Let's send it down to Susie Cool, who caught up with the Passion's co-head coach Teresa Kahn for our Coach's Corner. Susie.
Coach T, you've never faced a Denver team before, so what are you expecting from them in this wild card matchup?
They're a very well-coached team. They've got great athletes. They've got size. I expect an exciting game. I feel like our girls are prepared, and, these are the kind of football games you want to see.
Something you just said right there, they got size. You have seen size all season long. So how are you going to work around that again today?
I count on our speed, our experience. Our girls, we know how to handle that the best that one can, and I feel like our girls execute well.
How do you best handle it?
Tell them to run fast.
All right, thanks so much, Coach. Good luck out there today. Jack?
Great stuff, Susie, as that's your Coach's Corner, brought to you by Aid Nation, maximum absorption for super hydration. Damon, let's take a look at our keys to the game, brought to you by Pam Health, who's committed to providing patients with the best care and outcomes. They offer both inpatient and outpatient therapy. Find a location near you.
Yeah, first for Mile High, you come into this game as an underdog. You're going to have to win the special teams battle. You're going to need an explosive play. A punt return or kick return touchdown today would be huge. And you got to finish drives here tonight. You're going to have to punch it into the end zone. When you're battling this Passion team, you know they're going to score, so you're going to have to convert all your red zone chances. And for the Passion, protect your star quarterback, Marcelina Chavez. She loves to run the ball, but let her be comfortable in the pocket when she needs to be. And second, explosive defensive plays. At any time we know Dee Harris can get that interception. She has 7 on the year. If she can get an interception early in this game, it's going to swing the game for the Passion, and they're going to need some explosive plays here tonight as well.
Playoffs in Pittsburgh has a familiar ring to it for football fans here in the 4-1-2. Passion trying to punch its ticket to a National Conference title game, coming up next on Sportsnet Pittsburgh.
Miller's Mini Storage has the extra room you need. For more than 3 decades, our storage facility in Elizabeth, PA has offered secure, affordable, and accessible storage solutions. Miller's Mini Storage has you covered. Simply bring a lock and key and keep your items safe at our location. New insulated units are available with dawn to dusk access. Storing with us is easy and convenient. Visit millersministorage.com today and reserve your space. Miller's Mini Storage, your space, your way.
Hi, I'm F. Doc Harris, and I'm here to talk to you about women's professional football. I've played a lot of video games, and I've watched a lot of football on TV, so that makes me an expert. I can tell you right now, I know what real football looks like.
Oh, hey, Doc. Thank you.
Good luck this season.
Stay connected with all the action. Follow JRM Sports on X, Instagram, and YouTube. Get the latest highlights, exclusive content, and behind-the-scenes moments from your favorite sports. Don't miss a second. Follow us today.
Zone. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. Devin Peace around the corner. And Harris comes away with another. That's the statement.
Back here at West Allegheny High School for our Pam Health coin toss. Pam Health committed to providing patients with the best care and outcomes. We offer both inpatient and outpatient therapy. Find a location near you. You can look back here at the coin toss, and for Pittsburgh and Mile High, one of these two teams will be punching its ticket to a national conference title game that will be played on July 12th. And the coin toss won by the Passion, and they elect to receive. It looks like Damon McDermott, Jack Ridenauer here with you. Thanks so much for joining us for this WFA Pro playoff matchup. Glad that we were able to at least stay somewhat dry for that open there, Damon. The rain came out of nowhere about 4:30.
Yeah, the rain came out of nowhere, and thank goodness we're dry, as we thought this lightning, we might get a little delay, but we're starting pretty much on time here, a little bit late, but we're going to have a heck of a first-round wild card matchup, and I think we're about to get underway here, Jack.
Take a moment for the national anthem. Welcome back here to West Allegheny High School as we get set for this WFA Pro playoff matchup between Pittsburgh and Mile High. The Passion in search of their third appearance in the last 4 seasons in the National Conference title game, but first have to get through this upset-minded Mile High Blaze team that, Damon, let's face it, maybe the numbers offensively don't jump off the page, but defensively, this is a really, really strong team. They've limited a lot of their opponents to under 20 points, albeit 3 losses, but those 3 losses have been single-digit losses for most of the season.
Yeah, let's look at the last 2 games when they played the Houston Energy. Only gave up 6 points, and then the last game of the year, try to get some momentum going into the playoffs. They needed to win that game, too, to get here. They beat the Nevada Storm 35-13. They're only giving up 17.7 points a game. So after this kickoff, if they can avoid a big play here, I think it's going to be definitely a tone-setting drive to see if they can slow down the Passion as much as they have on the West Coast so far this year against those opponents.
Without question, as this Pittsburgh team, again, they have been rolling throughout this season, especially in the regular season. 5-1, the lone loss to the DC Divas. Passion won the coin toss, elected to defer to the second half, or excuse me, elected to receive, and they'll kick off in the second half. Back to receive for the Passion, Dee Harris, along with Grace Dadza.
And if I had any say here, I'd say do not kick it to Dee Harris. We've seen that punt return from last week and 7 interceptions on the year. If you give her the ball at any time, it could be a touchdown.
Melanie Archuleta to kick this one off, and we're off and running here from West Allegheny High School. Thanks for joining us. Dee Harris fields it around the 25-yard line, slips through some tacklers, and starts to break free, dragged down just shy of midfield. But like you mentioned, Damon, great return there by Dee Harris.
Yeah, and if I called back-to-back weeks here, we called a punt return touchdown last week. If we called a kickoff right away, that would have been something else. But again, she is a lightning bolt anytime she gets the ball.
To take a look at the starting lineup for this Pittsburgh Passion offense, and something to pay attention to. We found out pretty late, Damon, that Kylie Roebuck, starting center for the Passion, not getting the start tonight. Instead, it is Caitlin Niedermeyer, so something to watch from the line of scrimmage. First play, a trickery. They give it off for Ellie Malarski, back after injury. Tries to stiff arm past Reese Peterson and tumbles her way into Blaze territory.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how the snaps are. If they go more shotgun, they do love going shotgun anyways, but maybe no under center plays other than a couple. So it's something to look out for in this game. And if Denver, if I'm them or Mile High in this game, I'm putting someone over Niedermeyer all game long. We know how great of a defensive lineman she can be, but at center, we'll see if they test her early on.
Devin Peace gets her first touch, and it's a good one. Finds a seam, a burst of speed, and approaching into the red zone. 2 great plays and a big, big gain for this Passion offense.
With Malarski back now, every running back can kind of get going in this game. Everybody can switch carries right there. I just talked about Niedermeyer. There was a great hole right there in the 0 hole, and there's a nice run by Devin Peace early in this game for the Passion.
Chavez keeps it on the RPO. Has some blockers in front, trying to weasel her way forward. Taken down at the 15-yard line, and we're seeing that dual threat ability by Makai Chavez, last year's National Conference MVP.
Yeah, Jack, I'm going to talk about it a lot this game, but being 4th in passing and 4th in rushing when you're a quarterback in this league, it is unbelievable for Chavez. And right there, you saw they run that read option so well out of the backfield.
Chavez drops back, fires, caught by Cody Johnson, finds a seam, and is into the end zone. Pittsburgh strikes first and is on the board 6-0.
What a drive. What a drive-setting tone here as Cody Johnson tried throwing that back at the referee, but what a touchdown. Chavez showing everything on that drive. We saw our running ability, now our passing ability right there. You bite off of that read option. It's an RPO, a nice out route here by Cody Johnson, then just get upfield, follow your blocks, and wait for this last second. Get you some right at the end zone, gets a truck stick, and that's 6 points here for the Passion early on in this game.
Johnson, one of the many receiving threats that Makai Chavez has at her disposal, as Cody Johnson on for the extra point.
I joke around with her all the time with Matt when he's up here with me in the booth. I call her the utility knife. She can kick off, she can kick extra points, field goals, and she can catch touchdown passes. We'll see if she can cash in on an extra point here too.
And it's blocked.
just by a fingertip there, but Mile High at least has something to hang their hat on here after that first drive, led them to 6 points.
So a 6-0 lead for Pittsburgh thanks to Johnson's early score. Pittsburgh trying to march on forward in the playoffs next on Sportsnet Pittsburgh.
Let's change. Let's change the odds for the toughest infertility cases. Let's change survival rates for triple-negative breast cancer. Let's change outcomes for moms struggling with opioid addiction. Let's change the gender bias in medical research. Let's change the way the world treats women at McGeeWomens.org.
First quarter action, all presented to you by Aid Nation. Hydration, everybody, every day. Early offensive action with Pittsburgh striking first. 6-0 thanks to Chavez hooking up with Cody Johnson. And now it is Mile High's turn for its first offensive possession. Damon McDermott, Jack Ridenauer here with you. Susie Cool on our sidelines. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Playoffs in Pittsburgh. Damon, I know you're a Pittsburgh local. I'm sure that's a phrase that is pretty regular these parts of town, if you will.
Absolutely, and the Passion are one of those teams every year, you know they're going to be in this first round and then the semis, and I think this is the year. You saw that first drive. I mean, the ceiling for this team, I think, is a championship. They know that. They just got to execute like they did the last week of the regular season, and now they come out. What a way to start your playoff run with a 4-play touchdown drive you had right there. Johnson sends it a little short. Akua Barnett fields it, bobbles it briefly, strips free, looks for the edge, but can't get there. Great stop in coverage by Paige Bragg, as we'll send it down to Susie Cool.
Thanks, Jack. You mentioned Passion Center and All-American Kylie Roebuck being out for this game with a lower body injury. She unfortunately won't be returning this season. She tore her ACL at practice over the last few weeks. So the Passion, now they're putting their faith in Caitlin Niedermeyer at the center position, who we all know is an absolute beast at being a defensive tackle for this team. And Kahn said that while this does take away a little bit from the Passion defense, Kahn assured us that if Niedermeyer can do double duty, the defensive tackle, now center, will do whatever it takes. Jack?
Thanks, Susie. Yeah, we saw some of that strength early in that first drive for the Passion. First drive here for the Blaze, a pitch to Peterson. Trying to break free, but quickly stopped, and Dee Harris comes up with a huge tackle from her free safety position. So we take a look at the home defense for the Pittsburgh Passion. Like mentioned, Damon, Dee Harris, we're going to be saying her name quite a bit, number 12 in black, because she is the only one on this Passion team with any interceptions, has all 7 to lead the entire WFA Pro.
Yeah, and I joke around all the time. She's a center fielder. She gets to do whatever she wants, but right there, that first play we saw, she'll come up and get her nose dirty at any time. She can make great tackles, top 5 on the team in tackles as well, but at any time a big play is going to happen. Dee Harris is going to make it happen for the Passion.
2nd and 5 for the Blaze. Well, miscommunication. Santa Steven rolls out and is swallowed up. Ashley DeChico coming down with a huge sack.
And you want to talk about another playmaker. Anytime we're doing games, Ashley DeChico is all over the field, forcing fumbles, sack like that in the backfield at any time. And I mean, she was swarming to the play right there. A little bit of a broken play there by Mile High. I think they wanted to play action and then her to roll out to her left and get somebody in the flat. Nobody was there, had to hold it on for an extra second. The Passion take the sack.
Ashley DeChico named to the first-team All-American team this season for a 2nd consecutive year. 3rd and 9 for the Blaze, trying to get something going offensively. And a miscue on the snap. Ball is loose. Pittsburgh signaling that it has it. And that's the case. Passion all over it. And we'll take a look here at what exactly happened. And Damon, last week, at least the last game that the Mile High Blaze had against Nevada Storm, they had issues on the snap with Nicola Williams at center.
Yeah, and right there, just a little bit of miscommunication. I thought they were going to try to snap it out of like a shotgun formation there, and the ball just never got up. And then when you have that Passion defensive line getting a step right as the ball is snapped, they get right on that ball, and now Passion are going to try to go up 2 possessions early in this game, getting this drive started at the 35-yard line.
Pittsburgh looking to move to the National Conference title game that will be played on July 12th for a 3rd time in the last 4 years. Chavez fires to Johnson. Already 1 touchdown today. Takes on 4 different Blaze defenders. Leilani Kamal, one of the defensive players in on the stop. As we take a look at the defensive alignment for Mile High. And the defense for the Blaze, we talked about it, a really strong defensive presence this entire season. Mile High actually 2nd in points per game allowed.
Yeah, only giving up 17.7 points a game. We want to see if they're going to be able to slow down the Passion. Right there, a nice form tackle by a bunch of the Broncos over there.
Leilani Kamal along with Tamara Taylor in on the stop. Take a look back at Ellie Malarski's run, and you talked about how Malarski back in the lineup, and a good sign for this Passion offense, because when you've got a 3-time All-American back there in the backfield, that's a nice luxury to have.
I'm gonna get mixed up once with Mile High Blaze. We gotta differentiate from all the Denver teams, just like we do in Pittsburgh. You know, when you have a sports city like that, you have so many teams. Happy to have them in the WFA as well.
Ari Smith churns the legs, and enough to move the chains. Yep.
So. And I like what the Passion are doing so far, Jack. You're seeing at any time that they're going to use that RPO to make sure you can't stack 8, 9, 10 in the box, and then when they can, they're going to keep running that football. We know how good they've been all year long, and then at any time, you also have to combat for Chavez is going to run it herself here soon, too.
Chavez hands it off. Gives it to Smith. Twirled down, a gain of 1. Set up 2nd down and 9. You mentioned about the rushing for this Passion team. 2nd in the WFA Pro in rushing yards per game. Over 270 on the ground a contest.
Yeah, and what's unbelievable is now that you have your starting running back too with Malarski, I mean, you just don't know where this ball's going to go. As Chavez is looking for a home run.
Chavez throws it into tight coverage, and it's caught by Bragg. Oh my, that one fit through a window. Sets up 1st and goal. Tight coverage by Nakua Barnett, but somehow Chavez fires that one right through a keyhole.
Chavez was determined to get that ball into that little tiny place right here. You'll see she rolls out, very deep drop, so she can put a lot of effort on that throw. I'm trying to get my words here to see that window. And right there, you just see her snatched away from 2 different defenders, and now the Passion might punch in here as Chavez is going to the left side, and she's going to go in and score as well.
Chavez waltz into the end zone to extend the Passion lead, 12-0, as the first seed is flexing its muscle early.
And again, we talked about in the red zone, that's when you're going to see Chavez run a lot. So again, you're inside the 10. Chavez knows she's going to be able to make at least 1 or 2 women miss. Right there, she takes it herself, another read option. And now it looks like they might go for 2 to make it a 14-point game, but they're still trying to see what play they're going to run here. They could go extra point as well.
Two-point conversion here for the Passion. Chavez rolls out, fires, and reeled in by Bragg. More points pouring in for the Passion. 14-0 Pittsburgh, trying to stomp on the accelerator and move past Mile High here in the playoffs. So you take a look back at our 2-phrase brewery replay. Don't move a muscle. We've got more WFA Pro playoffs coming up next on Sportsnet Pittsburgh.
Time for dinner.
Pittsburgh pressing all the right buttons offensively, 14-0, couple touchdowns, a 2-point conversion. And these fans braving the elements here in Imperial, Pennsylvania, just outside of Pittsburgh. Thanks so much for joining us this evening. Damon McDermott, Jack Ridenauer here with you. Susie Cool on our sidelines. Winner of this one moves on to the National Conference title game. Loser, your season comes to an end.
And if you want your first scoring update for that game, the DC Divas are up 7-0 on the Tampa Bay Inferno, and we know the rivalry between the Pittsburgh Passion and DC Divas. That would be a heck of a second-round matchup.
Fielded by Reese Peterson at the 20, sheds through and stumbles her way to the 45-yard line. A nice 25-yard gain on that kick return. So maybe a little bright spot here offensively for Mile High, just still looking for its footing offensively.
Yeah, and again, you're in the playoffs. You're playing one of the favorites to make it to the championship. I know you can be a little nervous to start, but right here you got to try to settle in. Love to get points on the board here in your second drive. Also thought there was a flag on the right side of the field, but I think that was just someone getting a sock ripped off or a glove, or we'll see if the refs know. We do have a penalty.
Yeah, it looks like it's offsides against Mile High. So that might back them up some, and it does. So
okay, just wanted to make sure. It was one of those you couldn't really tell if it was a flag or not on the field, because it was, as we know, the Pittsburgh Passion main color looks just like a flag as well. Thought it might be a glove, but they'll just back them up 5 yards. A little kickoff malfunction. Still a really good return. You get the ball at the 40-yard line.
Damon, great eyes, my friend. Leora Bibbs along with Madeline Allensworth in the backfield with Santa Steven. Again, this Mile High team in its third year in the WFA Pro after dominating in Division II of the WFA. Give to Bibbs. Picks her way forward. Wrapped up, taken down. Good stop defensively by this front line for the Passion. Kim Zubovic, one of the many Passion defenders in on that tackle.
And a legend who's been playing with the Passion forever, does a great job being one of the leaders on this team, too. I know she wants to get back to that championship game as well. But right there for Mile High, that's a good first carry there on this drive. You get 3 yards. You get a little bit of space. My biggest thing you want to watch out for in this game, the Passion are going to run a lot of single high safety until they can show they can throw the ball over top of them. So, again, you're going to see 7 to 8 women in the box at all times here for the Passion. A lot of blitzing.
Santa Steven feels pressure. And knocked away from Whitehead. Good coverage by Ashley DeChico, but a flag is at midfield.
Could be a holding from one of those crossing routes. We'll see how the refs call this one.
So it's a false start against the offense. This backs up Mile High even further.
So we'll see some movement. Yep, guard just went a little too early. You want to try to cheat as much as you can there, but the refs are going to call that every single time. I thought it might have been on that crossing route. One of the linebackers grabbed one of the slot receivers from Mile High. But now that's going to back up Mile High here on their second down player. Now it's going to be 3rd and 7. Now it's going to be 2nd and 2, 12. There we go. As I'm battling the scoreboard. But no, it is going to be 2nd and 12 now for Mile High.
Damon, that's a lot better than I would have done. I still can't get past counting to 10 still, so I'm still trying to figure that out.
Well, you know, us and the scoreboard operator, we're one room over, and everybody's battling. And
flags come flying. Ball is loose, but this looks to be against Pittsburgh. Might have been an early jump by Kim Zubovic on the line, and that's exactly the case.
Good call by you, Jack, and I think Mile High knew that as well. So you just want to try to hurry up and try to throw a ball downfield. I call it the Aaron Rodgers special right there. You know it's a free play, so right there you just rush and you try to get a play going. But now you get the yards right back, and now we're at 2nd and 7 after all that debate we just had. So,
well, Nicola Williams continues to struggle with the snap a little bit. There were some issues with it last week, but still very early in this ball game. More than 7 minutes remain in the first quarter. 2-score difference, but the way this Blaze team operates offensively, not much of a passing threat, more of a running threat, but they can get going on the ground if they can get their footing.
Yeah, you just got to try to win the battle at the line of scrimmage. It's just so hard with this Passion team. We know how stout this run defense has been all year.
Bibbs, nowhere to go, and DeChico, the first Passion-a-meter. But again, Santa Stephen looked like Damon had a little bit of an issue bobbling the football. With the rain that was here about an hour and a half ago, maybe you start to wonder, is the turf a little wet?
Yeah, the turf could still be a little wet. But other than that, I mean, it's a beautiful night. We thought it was going to be one of those games. It could have been a monsoon when we kicked off and everything kind of cleared up. So, again, the ball could be a little bit wet. But, again, I just think it's one of those things all night. You're going to be facing a lot of pressure from this defensive line. You got to get that snap quick, and you got to get your feet set. Right here now you got a 3rd and 6. You're going to have to probably throw this football somewhere in the middle of the field and try to get a first down.
Blaze looking for their first down pickup this evening. 3rd and 6. Give to Peterson. Wiggles her way forward and brought down just shy of the first down marker, so sets up 4th and short.
And this is a really interesting play call because you're in, I call it no man's territory, the Bermuda Triangle here at midfield. You could punt this and try to coffin corner the Passion and make them have a long drive, but you're already down by 2 scores and you want to get past midfield here. You might just see 2 or 3 women in the backfield here and try to punch it 2 yards so you can get a first down.
Not to mention with what's on the line, keeping her season alive. Winner moves on in the playoffs. Loser has their season end here in Imperial, Pennsylvania. 4th and 2. Peterson looks for the edge and has it. D. Harris wraps her up, but the first down pickup tonight for this Blaze offense.
And I really like that play call. Everybody's stacked in the middle of the box. You think at some point it's going to be a fullback dive or a halfback wham, and you go outside with a stretch play. Trust your receivers to block downfield for you. And if D. Harris doesn't make that tackle, she probably gets another 10 yards. So a really good tackle by D. Harris as well. But there's a first down for Mile High, and now you can kind of try to settle back into this game, try to get 3 or 4 yards here on first down, and you try to chip away and get into the red zone against the Passion.
Yeah, Peterson this year, one of the 2 main running threats this season for the Blaze.
Really like her running style, too. She has a lot of acceleration early, which could pay dividends here for the Blaze.
Bibbs bowls her way forward, but a good job by Cameron Rufner to slow down Bibbs some and set up 2nd down.
Bibbs saw some open turf there. If she could break one more tackle, but good job by her to cut that to the outside and still get 5 yards for the Blaze. Tripped up there. Nice tackle in the open field. You'll see the Passion defensive backs. They play a lot like linebackers. I love seeing it all game long. They have no fear coming up and making some big tackles. You'll see D. Harris do it all game. You'll see DeChico do it all game. They play like linebackers, and they only play 1 safety high, so a lot of them are on the line of scrimmage.
And we talk about Mile High's defense. Pittsburgh not too far behind, allowing just 18 points per game to their opponents. Pitch to Peterson. Has blocking in front. Finds a seam. Swerves forward and moves the chains as well. So things starting to click here for Mile High, looking for its first ever playoff win in the WFA Pro Division.
And here's a replay, a nice little strong toss. Get your fullback in front of you, use Peterson's speed and get to the outside, and then you cut it back inside. Really good vision there, and again, wanted a little bit of a hold call there. You're not going to get it, so another first down run here for Mile High, and they're finally starting to set in this game. We talked about it, not having a win before. You get a little nervy here in a big playoff matchup, but it looks like their offense is finally starting to get a little bit more comfortable out here.
3.5 to go in this first quarter. Blaze trying to get on the board and crack the goose egg. Early movement, flag comes, and this might be on Leilani Kamal. And that is the case, so the Blaze get backed up some.
And what I'm seeing at the line of scrimmage, the Passion are making them so uncomfortable. You're seeing 1 or 2 blitz almost every single play, or at least you think they're going to blitz, and then they step back in the last second on coverage. But when you're playing offensive line and you see that, you just want to get up and into your stance as quick as possible to get your hand on someone blitzing.
So 1st and 15 after the penalty. Bibbs gets the handoff and loses the football. But Sasha Buontio falls all over it. That could have been disastrous for Mile High, but Sasha Buontio, right place, right time to keep the drive alive for the Blaze.
Good job by Sasha to jump on that football. As an offensive lineman, you just hope that you can get your hands on there before the defense can get there. And you see the blitz there, and then a nice strip tackle there by the Passion. And then you just got to jump on this football and live to fight another day. And you only lose about a yard from that play, so 2nd and 15. This drive is still there for you, but you're going to need a big play here, 7 or 8 yards, so it's a more comfortable 3rd down and not 3rd and long where the Passion can start blitzing everybody again.
Play clock's at 1, and they have yet to get to the line of scrimmage, and that forces the Blaze to call a timeout. Yes,
yep.
That is the case. 2:20 to go in the first quarter, and I don't want to say that this is a big point in the game as we take a look at our sponsors list. We want to give a big shout out to all of our sponsors this year with the Pittsburgh Passion. Numerous supporters all about women's football games, so a big thanks to all of our Pittsburgh Passion partners in the year of 2025.
So lucky to call all of these company sponsors, and what a time to be a sponsor. It's exciting. We're in the playoffs now. This is where everybody keeps their eyes on this league, and you're looking at 2 of the best teams in the league here in this wild card matchup. And like you said, Jack, I think this is a huge drive. You go a time out there, avoid to make it 2nd and 20. Again, this play right here, you'd love to make this a comfortable 3rd down, so it's not 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11. If you have another strong toss or an option play you want to run, but again, the Passion are going to keep stacking that box so you can show you can throw the ball down the field just a little bit here.
And without question.
And look who's in for the Passion right now is Niedermeyer. Again, what a job by her today that she's going to play some center and some defensive line. Probably going to bring her in during some reps and then a rest. But here, probably telling her, hey, try to get your hands on that quarterback for us to make it a 3rd and very long.
Another flag flies. And a false start against the Blaze, so they continue to back themselves up. And in a drive like this, Damon, it feels like this is the last thing that you want to have, especially like we're kind of hinting at, if you don't score here, Passion come and score quickly to start the second quarter. You're looking at a 3-score deficit.
And we've seen this Passion defense, how they can just slow the run game down. And when you're a running team, you're fighting the clock all game long as well. You're not stopping the clock a lot of the time. So, again, this is a huge drive, and now you're at 2nd and 20. We'll see what they come out and try to run here. I would try to get way in the bag of tricks here. If you got some type of run to a pass play here, halfback toss, you got to just try to show a Passion a different look here, a double reverse, something to get them on their toes.
And another flag flies. And it looks like illegal motion potentially. Flag's getting a lot of airtime today. Wonder if we have a sponsor for the flag.
The refs like to show off the arm when they can too as well. But now we're at 2nd and 25, and we talked about it not being a long 3rd down. Now it's going to be really challenging here. And you almost start to think you don't maybe want to turn this ball over either. So how creative do you really get on this 2nd and 3rd down? It might be one of those things now you say, okay, we dodged a fumble. We got a couple first downs, but we might have to punt this ball. So this is a big play right here. You got to try to get a chunk play here, 10 or 15 yards.
Penalty was a delay of game as the Blaze barely get it off in time, and Peterson continues to try and pulverize that front line, but gets stopped inside of Passion territory. Tiana Cash on the stop, the 3rd-year Passion player.
And you'll see her all over the field as well. Tiana Cash loves getting a couple sacks, but she'll take a couple tackles too, doing her job for the Passion. A couple weeks ago, she had 2 sacks, doing a really good job this year. This whole defensive line for the Passion, you just go, okay, if we double team one woman, where do we go next? And that's the issue I think Mile High is running into in this game so far. There's just so many players for the Passion that get in the backfield so fast.
3rd and 20, Santa Stephen has trouble, and here comes Cash.
Just talked about how she loves getting into the backfield. I knew she, on this play, was going to have her ears pinned back, and she gets a sack, first one of the game, and she's celebrating on midfield with her teammates. Right there, again, a wobbly snap. It gets slipped through, and at this point, you have the pass rush all coming in, and then you got a swarm of Passion players coming in. Tiana Cash cashes in on another sack this year.
She's definitely been money this season. Now her 4th sack of the year. Standout basketball player in college at Penn State Greater Allegheny, one of many former college athletes on this Passion team. And she helps her team out tremendously with a 4th and 27 with less than a minute to go as Dee Harris back to receive this along with Grace Dadza.
And I was about to say, what's even more scary is now you got to punt the ball to one of the biggest playmakers in this whole entire league. Dee Harris would love another punt return touchdown. Had her first of the year last week.
nearly blocked by DeChico. As Archuleta hardly gets it off, Harris lets it roll. And with 32 seconds to go, Passion have one last chance to march down the field here, Damon. Now, obviously, drive starts again in the second quarter, but hey, you know what? You go down the field pretty quickly. You go up by 3 scores going into the second quarter. That can do a lot to the opponent that has to look at that deficit.
Yeah, and right now for Mile High, I think you got to sell out either or. Right now, I would try to slow down that run game as much as you can and at least make it a little bit more uncomfortable for Chavez back there. Get a couple 3rd and longs, 2nd and longs, but if they're getting 5 to 6 yards of carry like they have been on first down, it just makes every drive so much easier.
Malarski is in the Wildcat, it looks like, and now there's some confusion for the Passion. They call a timeout.
Looks like a play they really wanted to run, but they just couldn't figure out where everybody was supposed to go. Is you have Malarski back now, and we know she can play a little receiver. She'll tell you she can throw the ball, too. So they're just trying to give them some different looks here in this game. And Chavez, I joke around all the time, she can run, she can throw. I guarantee she can catch a football if you give it to her, too. So one of those plays they probably drew up all week and they wanted to run here, but a little bit of miscommunication, so you burn your first time out, no big deal.
Yeah, Marcelina Chavez has been a big driving force to this Passion success. Spent a lot of time playing for the Tampa Bay Inferno prior to her time coming here to Pittsburgh, and went to 2 Division II national title games with the Inferno, unable to win those 2 times. So the hunger there for Chavez at an all-time high. I know she talked to Matt Fargo, if I'm not mistaken, a few weeks ago, and talked about that hunger that she wants to continue to play with, as Lisa Horton, one of the head coaches for the Passion, trying to get Pittsburgh further in the playoffs in 2025. Malarski, the trickery. Chavez has a wide open Bragg, but instead they hook up with Cardillo, and Cardillo cuts her way down the sideline and tries to stretch for the 50-yard line. Bragg was wide open too. You can see when you've got 2 wide open receivers, you did something right.
Right there, you joke around. Your coach did exactly what you wanted to call there. Really nice route concept there. You got someone with a post deep, and then you got an out route where Chavez can roll out, set her feet, and then just rifle it in there again. What a throw and what a catch. And that's going to be the end of the first quarter. They wanted to squeeze one more play in there, Jack, but we'll have to wait for the second quarter for this explosive offense for the Passion.
Don't move a muscle. We've got a lot more football here in Pittsburgh. 14-0 Passion lead. Hall here right on Sportsnet Pittsburgh.
Quiet on set? No way. This is Jake's time to shine. And Ryan's. And our crew. Cameras, check. Drones, check. Checking that shot we just checked? Double check. We ain't got time to chill. We're out here capturing this action. This is when we get to work. To bring you every moment live, no matter what. Broadcasting changes everything. Transform how you experience the game with JRM Video Production.
Supportive.
Grateful.
Inspiring.
Connected. Integrated.
Community. Communication.
Great.
Fun.
Meaningful.
Inclusive. Dedication.
Professional.
Care.
Opportunities. Excellent. Passionate.
Family. Family.
Awesome.
At Laway, we understand the power of personalization. From hats to water bottles, our expert services include screen printing, embroidery, and a variety of promotional items. We also specialize in team sports gear. What truly sets Laway apart is our dedicated design team, including our talented on-staff graphic designers and exponential customer service. Choose Laway to make a lasting impression on and off the field.
Second quarter action is brought to you by Pam Health, who's committed to providing patients with the best care and outcomes. We offer both inpatient and outpatient therapy. Find a location near you. We're here in Imperial, Pennsylvania, at West Allegheny High School, WFA Pro Playoffs. First round action, winner moves on to the National Conference title on July 12th. Pittsburgh in front 14-0, dominating to say the least, and continuing to march here to start the second quarter. Chavez fakes, Has Johnson and connects with her. Blockers in front, breaks free. Turns into a foot race, a stiff arm, and dragged down inside the 30. Cody Johnson already with a touchdown reception, and she picks up a huge chunk of yardage there.
And how about the tight ends so far for the Passion in this game? Cardillo, Cody Johnson, and Paige Bragg all showing they can be reliable targets in this offense. Cody Johnson, again, I love at all times. She wants to throw a stiff arm out there or truck somebody, get downfield, and she's a great runner too. She got down to the left side of that sideline. There's a big stiff arm.
Malarski with a stiff arm. Squeezes through blockers and finally brought down by Leilani Kamal.
And Jack, real quick, we're talking about this game and who they'll play again. They'll play the Tampa Bay Inferno or the DC Divas, as you see Malarski again on this replay with a heck of a run for the Passion. Right now the DC Divas are up 14-0 as well, so we might see that rivalry game again here in 2 weeks. One of the favorite rivalry games you'll see on the WFA all year long. People would love to see that matchup for a third time this year.
Chavez over the middle and has Chi-Chi Gatto. Walks into the end zone. Touchdown, Pittsburgh.
Nobody can slow down this Passion offense right now. And Marcelina Chavez says, hey, we're in the playoffs. This is where I go. What a strike on a post route. And it's all Passion this one, now up 20-0. Watch this throw. You can barely keep up with it on our replay here by Two Phrase Brewery. What a strike. What a pitch and catch. And again, the Passion just cannot do anything wrong right now on offense, Jack.
Firing on all cylinders. Chavez's second passing touchdown of the evening, and Johnson on for the point after to make it 21-0 Pittsburgh.
Again, the first one got blocked. They got a 2-point conversion. We'll see if they can cash in on this extra point now.
And this one, no good. So either way, Pittsburgh in front and in charge, 20-0, trying to put pedal to metal. As we take another look here at the replay, and again, we talked about Chavez's ability, Damon, to be a dual threat player, and some maybe say she leans more towards running than throwing, but you see here, top of your screen, Gatto wide open, and Chavez throws a strike.
Yeah, that's a route concept you see all over football. You'll get your slot receiver to go on an out route, and then your inside receiver is going to come in on a slant route or a little skinny post right there, so the cornerback has to open up her hips, and then the safety has to try to get up there as quick as possible. Really nice play call, and you know a veteran, an MVP like Chavez is going to complete that pass every single time. Again, this Passion offense is showing they are getting hot at the right time here in the playoffs.
Barnett and Peterson back to receive the kickoff for the Blaze. And yes, this Passion team, they go as Marcelina Chavez goes, and she has been playing really well. And what's key this season, Damon, is that she's healthy during this playoff run.
Yeah, when you run the ball as much as she does, I think we've all had these conversations. You'd love for her to maybe slide a little bit more or just avoid contact, but that's not who she is. I mean, she wants to run people over. I love watching her play football. She plays the right way.
Peterson knocked down by DeChico, and DeChico quickly pops back up.
Want to make sure she's okay, but nice tackle by her on special teams that she'll stay on the field again. I call her defensive back. I think she's a hybrid linebacker the way she tackles. You'll see here, love a good special teams wrap-up tackle there. Use your shoulder, trip her down. Now it's good field position here for the Passion. Mile High is going to have to start this drive at the 26-yard line, as you see Doc and Dana Harris there on the sideline as well. They're pretty happy so far in this game. 20-0 again for the Passion. Don't want to say that they're already looking forward to the next round, but you got to think you keep playing as good as you are here now. You could cash your ticket to play in a semifinal game here as well in just 2 weeks.
1st and 10 here for the Blaze. Santa Steven keeps it herself, doesn't see anything she likes, and quickly gets crushed by Gara Yua as well as Rufner for the Passion.
I was wondering when they're going to start telling Santa Steven you're going to have to make some plays in the backfield. We know that she can run a little bit as well, so she didn't like anything downfield. It looked like they wanted for a bubble screen, and as soon as you have a red alert that says, okay, that one's not open, I just got to take off there. And that's one element that the Passion maybe did not think they would see in this game, a little bit of a mobile quarterback, so that could help Mile High try to get back into this game.
2nd and 7. Santa Steven with a clean pocket. Fires for Alicia Archuleta, and a little too far out of reach. Sets up 3rd down.
And this has been the storyline in this game so far. Any type of football from Pee Wee all the way up to the professional leagues like this one here tonight, long third downs, it just limits your playbook and what you can do. So, again, it takes out a lot of runs. It takes out play action pass. So here, again, for the Mile High Blades, they're going to have to show that they're going to be able to throw the ball across the middle of the field or deep on those sidelines here as you're facing another 3rd and 7.
Blaze looking for some sort of traction offensively, in jeopardy of being bounced out of the playoffs in the first round for a 4th straight year. Santa Steven fires and intercepted. DeChico picks it up, strips off one tackle, and finally dragged out of bounds by Ailquin. A flag is back at the 45-yard line.
That's going to be on the block. The interception should stand. That was after the return, so they're going to get this ball probably at their 40-yard line. But what an interception by DeChico. We always keep saying D. Harris has all the interceptions this year. Way to play that ball off the tip. And it should stand as an interception, as it's going to be a blindside block. But here's the replay one more time. You got to throw it deep on 3rd and 7. It gets tipped up in the air. Good job by DeChico. That is such a good way to play that tip ball. And you see that blindside block right there at the very end of that replay. So it's going to back them up to the 40-yard line, or the, yep. My math is right for once, Jack. Okay, the 41. I was very close.
There you go.
So,
yeah, you're splitting hairs at that point.
What a interception for DeChico. And I mean, the blindside block's been banned forever. I know you get excited your teammate just got an interception. You want to throw a big block so she can get in the end zone there. But, again, what a play for the Passion. We're wondering who is going to step up and get that first interception after D. Harris. Now we have our answer, and the Passion are right back in the driver's seat. They start off this drive from the 41-yard line, and there's still 12 minutes and 49 seconds left in the second quarter, and they're already up 20-0. So all those people after their one loss this year thinking, are the Passion still that dominant? Well, I think we're starting to see that here tonight, that they are ready for another long playoff run.
Chance to move on to the National Conference title game. They'll play either D.C. or Tampa Bay, and if they play D.C., that could be a big one to circle, with D.C. being the only team this year that has defeated Pittsburgh.
And breaking news, Jack, the Inferno did just score, so that's 14-7 over there, so you never know, as the Passion did beat the Inferno twice this year, but the game down in Tampa was way closer, 30-22.
Malarski tumbled down. Good tackle by Mary Ramos.
And what's great about this playoffs, you want to keep everybody healthy, but now you'll see Malarski get subbed out and Peace will come back in the game. So now you have 3 different running backs and come in at any time, and Chavez can run the ball. So, I mean, you can spread these carries out as much as you can now, where in that first DC game, or that second DC game, you had Chavez pretty much toting the rock 50% of the time.
2nd and 3. The give for Bragg. Trying to follow blockers. Does cross over into Blaze territory, and enough to move the chains as well.
And why not? The tight ends have been doing everything in this game. Why not give a jet sweep little end around to one of your tight ends as well? I know when I played football at tight end, if I heard end around, I was excited. Usually you don't get a running start with the ball here. So right here, it is going to be I would call that a jet touch pass, as long as it leaves Chavez's hand there, and Bragg picks up the first down.
Quick throw for Bethany Meyer, trying to knife her way forward, and then a flag comes flying in after the play. Could be an illegal hit to the head.
Well, see, it was an RPO. I didn't see anybody downfield that wasn't supposed to either. We see that a lot as well. And I saw Cody Johnson tap on her head, but I think she just wanted a break, and it looks like no flag, so they're going to put it away. I think they thought it might have been a late hit on the sideline, but she was still in play. It was a clean hit by Mile High as well.
A timeout taken here by Mile High with 11:38 to go. Don't move a muscle. 20-0 Pittsburgh, and it's marching into Blaze territory right here on Sportsnet Pittsburgh.
Time for dinner.
First round WFA Pro playoff action here on Sportsnet Pittsburgh. Damon McDermott, Jack Ridenauer, and Susie Cool all here with you. Thanks so much for spending your evening with us. 20-0, the number 1 seeded Pittsburgh Passion in front, flexing the muscle and trying to get to a 3rd national conference title game in a 4-year span. You look at how this Passion team, Damon, has been since it was founded back in 2002, 6th oldest franchise in the Women's Football Alliance, the WFA. And since 2022, they have been a dominant force, to say the least, in trying to extend this 20-0 lead here in the second. Chavez keeps on the RPO. Can't get past Tamara Taylor, one of the top defenders for the Blaze.
Really good tackle there by Tamara Taylor. We've seen all year how hard it is to tackle Chavez one-on-one. She got off her block very early right there. Sheds a block, throws Chavez down. Nice play there by Tamara Taylor.
First down pickup as well. Passion continue to march into Blaze territory on the back of the 2024 National Conference MVP. She shows off the arm and can't find Bragg. Great play, though. Love the design. We've seen a lot of that kind of quick pitch back to Chavez, and clearly Mile High is yet to adjust.
I mean, I think that was a double reverse pass. We'll see it all right here. So hand off to Peace, toss it back to Malarski, toss it back to Chavez, and then tries to throw a little out route down the sideline. I love that play design. I don't know if I want to show it off in the first round when I'm up by 20. I know that Tampa Bay or DC Divas are going to have that one on film, but I mean, what a play call there.
Flag comes, free play. Chavez keeps it and gets wrapped up and taken back. This looks like it's going to be on Shantavia Brigham for jumping.
And Chavez there knew it was a free play, tried to get it downfield, nobody was open, and then she took a face mask. They didn't call that one. They're going to call that first flag, but again, Marcelina Chavez does not shy away from contact at any point. She said, I'll try to throw it deep if nothing's there. I'm just going to try to truck 1, 2, or 3 Mile High Blaze defenders there.
You mentioned about Chavez and her tenacity going all the way back to her time playing for Tampa Bay. So she gets past Mile High today, could set up a rematch with her former team that she helped guide to 2 Division II national title appearances. Chavez drops back, fires, reeled in. Great job by Angie Cardillo as she was sandwiched by defenders, one of them being Reese Peterson. Enough to keep the chains moving and the momentum building for Pittsburgh.
Again, I really like the passing concepts, the routes here by the Passion in this game. And Chavez, her arm just looks like it has a little bit of extra zip on it here today. A really nice completion again for the Passion.
1st and 10. Chavez rolls, unloads, and out of the fingertips of Bethany Meyer, sets up 2nd down.
And with Meister out of this game, showing the receiving on for the Passion this year, Cody Johnson has 16 catches. Bethany Meyer has 9. Paige Bragg had 9 coming into today. She already has 2 today. Cardilla also had 9. She has 2 today. So it just shows they can throw this football all around the place. And then Malarski's back. Only had 1 catch on the season, but now she's fully healthy. I told you, Jack, I wouldn't be surprised to see her line up at slot receiver a little bit in this game as well.
Yeah, health was a big issue last year for Pittsburgh, trying to make their way to the national championship game. Ultimately bounced out of the playoffs in the conference finals by Boston for a 2nd time in a 3-year span. Slip through Chavez, relocates, and scurries away from trouble. Oh my, how does she get away from Mary Ramos, who looked like she had her dead to rights, but not the case. And what looked like nothing turns into something.
Her play style reminds me so much of Lamar Jackson, because when there's a broken play, that's when a defense should be like, oh my goodness, we're going to finally get her in the backfield. But then everybody's over pursuing her, so she picks up this football and she goes, oh, I can just burn right to the outside. Nobody's going to be able to catch me, and gets 9 yards. There's not many quarterbacks that can do that in the WFA, but Chavez can at any time.
Valeria Garcia on the pressure, not Mary Ramos. Inside of 10 minutes to go until half. Malarski trying to chisel through and force down. It looks like it's enough for a 1st down pickup, and it sets up a 1st and goal here for Pittsburgh.
And so far, this has been a play calling dream. I mean, you're mixing the pass and rush so well. You're keeping Mile High on their toes. They don't know what you're going to do. So right here, Just an inside handoff, Chavez with a pump fake and had defenders fold. And again, you get another first down.
Devin Peace gets the call. Gets a burst of speed, trying to slip in through the edge. Can't do so. Down inside the 5-yard line. Devin Peace, player that is very tough, but also has been a big part of this Passion success. Last year's leading rusher. Actually, she's also the head coach for RMU Rugby, and I know, Damon, you
have some connections
Colonial yourself. Yeah, man.
I'd love to see some Colonials in this league doing so well. See if she can get a touchdown here.
Flag does fly. Peace races around and is in, but we'll see what this flag is. Right now, it's a touchdown, Pittsburgh.
See the call. She's excited, but I think she saw the flag as well, so they're going to march it right back here. Nothing worse than when you score and you got to wait for a call to see if it stands or not. Yeah, it's going to be on the Passion, so it's going to back them up. Still be second down. And it's a false start on the Passion.
So a false start pushes Pittsburgh back some. It's Coach Lisa Horton along with Teresa Kahn, both trying to coach their team to a National Conference title appearance, continue to set that standard of success. This Passion team since 2004 has had a winning season ever since that year. Truly amazing. Chavez tucks and runs, tries to push forward, and is in. Touchdown, Pittsburgh.
What a second effort. You thought she was down at the 1 or 2 yard line. She extends off her teammate, not even looking at the red zone or the end zone, stretches in, and she gets a touchdown for the Passion. What a second effort by Chavez. You see here, she rolls out to her left, looking for a receiver down, and then watch the dive here as you think she's down, and she goes, I'm still up, extends her arms and in. That might be play of the game right there. I cannot believe that second effort by Marcelina Chavez, and now the Passion are up 26-0, and we do have an injured Mile High Blaze on the field.
Yeah, that's a key player in Priscilla Garcia, back-to-back first-team All-American, not to mention leads the team in tackles for losses and second in sacks. So this could be a huge blow potentially to this Blaze defense that is really the calling card for Mile High. And speaking of calling card, Marcelina Chavez continues to just dice up defenses. Last year's conference MVP, All-American a year ago, and this season as well.
And she could be MVP every year. I mean, she does things that you just do not see on the football field. Right there, one of the best plays we've seen all year. That second effort to even have the knowledge to extend your arms as you can't even look at the end zone. What a play by Marcelina Chavez once again.
Garcia gets off the field on her own power, and Cody Johnson sticks it up and through the uprights. 27-0. Everything working for the home team. Pittsburgh trying to move on in the playoffs on Sportsnet Pittsburgh.
At Diesel Sports Complex, located in Cranberry Township, our mission is to develop athletes, empower families, and transform communities through elite coaching, innovative programs, and total player development. We proudly support female athletes and partner with the Pittsburgh Passion to inspire the next generation of strong, confident leaders. Whether it's private sessions, small group training, rep access, or full development memberships, we meet athletes where they are, and it starts with one visit, one session, one rep.
Most individuals, when they have an injury, they want to get back immediately, whether that is getting back to work or getting back to sport or getting to their next yoga workout. We really want to give them pain-free function and mobility as best we can for the extent of their lives, so they can be active, so they can enjoy being with their loved ones.
Marcelina Chavez with another touchdown, this one using the legs to make it 27-0 Pittsburgh, trying to eliminate Mile High from the playoffs and move past the Blaze to the next round. Damon McDermott, Jack Ridenauer, Susie Cool all here with you on a nice cool evening after the rain came in. I'm sure Susie Cool might find that cool. I'm going to stop there. Barnett gets taken down inside of the 30. And speaking of Susie Cool, Susie, what do you have for us?
Thanks, Jack. For the first time since the Pittsburgh Passion took on the Tampa Bay Inferno, that was all the way back on May 31st at home. The Passion are almost back to full capacity when it comes to their roster. But even with major stars out of the lineup the last few games of the regular season, this team was really impressive in the way they came together and stepped up when they needed to the most. Head coach Teresa Kahn said the way the Passion played over the last 3 games of the regular season and continued to come to practice over the last few weeks when down some of their best players has definitely been a boost of confidence this year. And it's definitely a boost mentally as well. And we're seeing that confidence really come to life here today. Jack?
Susie, great stuff. Yeah, I think that it's that, like you mentioned, Damon, that next player up mentality, and it builds out the depth for your team. And clearly, Teresa Kahn, she loves the depth that is on this team. She speaks so highly of this group, a lot of hardworking women that really put a lot of time into the game of football. And right now, the cause of concern is Nakia Barnett for Mile High down right now. But again, I think everything right now for Pittsburgh, they have to be feeling pretty good as we approach towards the latter part of the second half as we take a quick break for the injury timeout. 27-0 Pittsburgh here on Sportsnet Pittsburgh.
At Diesel Sports Complex, we don't just train athletes, we build game changers. Located in Cranberry Township, our mission is to develop athletes, empower families, and transform communities through elite coaching, innovative programs, and total player development. We proudly support female athletes and partner with the Pittsburgh Passion to inspire the next generation of strong, confident leaders in sports and in life. Whether it's private sessions, small groups, rep access, or full development memberships, we meet athletes where they are and guide them and their families through the journey. This isn't just a facility, it's a movement, and it starts with one visit, one session, one rep. Learn more at dieselsportscomplex.com, where we're better today than yesterday.
Stay connected with all the action. Follow JRM Sports on X, Instagram, and YouTube. Get the latest highlights, exclusive content, and behind-the-scenes moments from your favorite sports. Don't miss a second. Follow us today.
Nakia Barnett able to walk off on her own power, but again, things are going from bad to worse right now for Mile High. Trying to get some traction here, though, as another flag comes flying in. Leora Bibbs looking for a race to the boundary, but instead Dee Harris right there strips it free. It goes out of bounds, but again, we talk so much, Damon, about Dee Harris's defensive ability, and for good reason. She was a great college basketball player at La Roche University, unprecedented 4-time AMCC Defensive Player of the Year in basketball.
You think that translates over?
Absolutely, and you only hear players getting the award once, maybe twice. 4 years in a row,
you
though?
Get award fatigue, it seems like. They don't want to give it to the same player. We see it in every sport.
Of course.
But you see her effort on the football field. I can only imagine what it was like on the basketball court. It's just, I guarantee she got steals all times, rebounds she shouldn't get, and right there, she's playing safety, and her closing speed gets a tackle behind the line of scrimmage. It is just amazing watch her play football. I just describe her as a football player. She might be a safety, but I think you could throw her at running back, wide receiver. She punt returns, kick returns. She can just do everything. It's unbelievable how much of an athlete Dee Harris really is.
Blaze get backed up on a penalty. 1st and 15, and another flag comes in. And Leora Bibbs, along with Kimberly Santa-Steven, don't look to be on the same page. So a false start yet again against Mile High. Back-to-back false starts for the Blaze as they continue to back themselves up some. Talked about Pittsburgh's origin story for Mile High. They started back in 2013 as a team with less than 20 players. Originally, they were called the Mile High Cowgirls. Some passionate faithful trying to cheer their team to a playoff win. 1st and 20. Peterson. Dee Harris rips it free and strips it out, picks it up, tumbles inside the 15. Flag does come. Coach Teresa Kahn signaling that it is against Mile High, but man, oh man, Dee Harris doing everything and more herself.
And she's laughing. She wanted to score, but what a play. Watch Dee Harris come into your screen right now, grabs that football and throws Peterson away and says, I want to score, and just gets tackled and loses her balance. You thought she might be able to save it there, but again, we keep talking about Dee Harris. I vote her Defensive Player of the Year. It's unbelievable the year she's having. 7 interceptions, a couple forced fumbles, a punt return touchdown. Just an unreal football player that can do it all for the Pittsburgh Passion. And then when you get back on offense, you get Marcelina Chavez. So I would love to watch those practices when you have this defense versus this offense, because Dee Harris and Marcelina Chavez every single week is must-see TV.
Penalty was a holding against Mile High. But yeah, Dee Harris, truly a one-woman wrecking crew, to say the least, and sets up her Passion's offense beautifully here to try and stretch this to a potential 30-plus point advantage before halftime. The pitch to Smith. The seas part. Barrels her way forward and down at the 1 yard line.
I thought they were going to give her that extension for a score, but they're going to be down at the 1. This is where, as a Coach T might go, why don't we just give her the ball one more time? You want to cash her in on her effort here. We'll see the play call right there. Ari Smith doing a good job to hit the left side of the line here, and then breaks 1 tackle, 1 more, and I honestly think she might have not been down, so I'm hoping they give her the ball right back and let her cash in for that touchdown. We'll see the play call here, though, as we're looking like we're going to have pistol formation. No, we're going to go I formation at the 1 yard line.
Chavez hands off to Bragg and stopped, trying to keep moving, and is in. Touchdown Pittsburgh. Paige Bragg will not be denied.
What a play call. You thought they might go right back to Ari Smith. Like I was saying, they faked the handoff to her. You get an end around to Bragg, and then she shows that her physicalness down here in the end zone can pay off as well. Off of this nice fake halfback dive, go end around to Bragg. You think she might get stopped at this 1 yard line. You keep your feet going. Cody Johnson helps, pushes her in the back, and she's in the end zone. So one tight end helping another tight end, and that's another score for the Passion, now up 33-0.
Johnson on for the point after. The All-American punter, former college soccer standout, and goes back-to-back on the extra points. 34-0 Pittsburgh, cruising their way to a first-round win right here on Sportsnet Pittsburgh.
Miller's Mini Storage has the extra room you need. For more than 3 decades, our storage facility in Elizabeth, PA has offered secure, affordable, and accessible storage solutions. Miller's Mini Storage has you covered. Simply bring a lock and key and keep your items safe at our location. New insulated units are available with dawn to dusk access. Storing with us is easy and convenient. Visit millersministorage.com today and reserve your space. Miller's Mini Storage, your space, your way.
Supportive.
Grateful.
Inspiring.
Connected. Integrated.
Community. Communication.
Great.
Fun.
Meaningful.
Inclusive. Dedication.
Professional.
Care.
Opportunities. Excellent. Passionate.
Family. Family.
Awesome.
Another touchdown for the Passion to make it 34-0 thanks to Paige Bragg's second effort. Back here on Sportsnet Pittsburgh, Damon McDermott, Susie Cool, Jack Ridenauer all here with you. Fielded by Jocelyn Huntsman as she maneuvers her way forward. Check that is Delaney Archuleta on the return. Either way, does send the offense out for the Blaze, and right now, Damon, it feels like things are starting to maybe slip out of their hands, and especially if they can't get a score on the board with less than 6 minutes to go in the half.
Yeah, you get the ball in the second half, so if you could score here and then you get the ball back, that gives you a little bit of momentum. But this drive is very important for Mile High. And you see the faithful, the Pittsburgh faithful that came out and about for this game. They know how the playoffs work in this league for the WFA. They win this game, they're in the semifinals, and looking at some scores around the league. Again, Tampa Bay is now down 7-20, so the DC Divas did get another touchdown. And here we are. We might be talking about that rivalry a third time this year. What a must-see matchup that will be here in 2 weeks if that ends up happening between the Passion and the DC Divas.
1st and 10 for Mile High. Coming to today 3-3 on the year. Drop back. Throw downfield and nobody there. Looked like Delaney Archuleta might have not run the right route. Carmen Whitehead also in the vicinity.
Little miscommunication, but you got to give some credit to the defensive backs here for the Passion today. We just have not seen a lot of room for a lot of these routes. And anytime they're trying to go inside, they're just not letting it happen. And we see a little sword fighting with the boomsticks for the Passion fans as everybody's got smiles on their faces here tonight, and nothing can go wrong. As the faithful are very happy so far in this game, already thinking about maybe a second round matchup. And then if you get to Cannon, who knows, maybe this is the championship year for the Passion.
2nd and 10. Santa Stephen fires over the head of Peterson. Good coverage by Rufner. 3rd and 10 for the Blaze.
And that's been the difference in this game. The Passion, when Mile High knows, okay, they've been running the ball a lot. We're finally stopping the run. The Passion has sold out so much on this run game, but they're just having one-on-one coverage all over the field, and so far it's been working. So if I'm Mile High, you got to find some routes. They're going to beat man coverage in this game. So far, you have not been able to find it, but now 3rd and 10. You really don't want to give the Passion the ball back with 5 minutes left in this second half or first half, so they can go back down and try to score one more time.
Make sure you stick around for some halftime fun. Susie Cool will have an interview with one of our Passion players. Just kidding. Won't have that. We'll have some fun at halftime either way. Don't go anywhere. Peterson with a huge reception. Maybe there a little sign of life for Mile High as Santa Stephen hooks up with Peterson. I'm going to correct myself here, Damon. Matt Fargo sits down with Chichi Gatto. I was reading the wrong thing. You're having a tough time counting. I can't read. We're getting to the finish line, though. Don't worry.
But we know some football, and watch this replay right here. Really nice pass there. You're throwing two pretty much seam routes, and what a catch. And maybe that will finally spark this offense. What a pitch and catch there for Mile High, as now they have a little bit of momentum. They're in some opponent territory only for the second time in this game, and showing that passing game mind is starting to wake up, and now we got a left toss here for Mile High.
Bibbs can't burst free. Dadzo with an ankle tackle. The former softball standout at Pitt Bradford showing off some of the football defensive skills. And another injured player, it's Sasha Bontio, that's slow to get up.
Okay. And one thing, Jack, this is your first time doing some WFA action. We love the sportsmanship as well. As you'll see the Passion always go to one knee when there's an injury. And we've seen it, unfortunately, in the last couple weeks, there's been some injuries as we get into the tail end of this season. And looks like Dee Harris is also getting stretched out just a hair, but she's okay. Looks like they're just putting some tape on her hand. And you never want to speculate, but looks like there's an ankle injury for Mile High. And she's going to be able to get up from her injury as well, and that's Sasha Buento, again, who has been a very vital part for Mile High to get to this part of the season in the playoffs. Again, you said for the 3rd straight year, trying to get that first playoff win, but when you face, I would call a buzzsaw in this league, the Pittsburgh Passion, they're happy to make the playoffs, but every single year they're looking ahead, and they want to make it to that second round and then to the finals. And so far in this game, they've checked every box. Again, Jack, you didn't do that game, but a lot of people after that DC Diva loss were thinking maybe this year is the Passion would maybe lose in that first round. They answer back against Cincinnati, and then in this game, you didn't know what you'd see from Mile High. So far, the Passion up 34-0, looking like they're ready for another championship run this year.
2nd and 10 from the Passion's 37. Santa Stephen. Comeback route caught by Callista Ramos. Flag comes in late as she gets dragged down shy of the 35.
Waiting for this call. Again, some of these flags are so easy to call out what it was, but right there, that's a screen. So I'm thinking it was a chop block, but you don't see that called often. So I'm guessing maybe an illegal woman downfield because of the screen pass. No, was I right? It was a chop block, but it was getting called on the Passion. So you can get called for that. You're trying to get the blocker out of your way, so you just go at her legs, but they're going to call that every single time. When you hear chop block, you think it's going to be on the offense, but you'll see on the replay here as one of the blockers get their knee taken out in front off of that screen right there. You see them all down, so that's a free 15 yards for Mile High as they're all the way down to the 21-yard line now.
Blaze trying to score for the first time today. And a miscue on the snap. Santa Stephen was not ready for it, falls on top of it. But talk about going 2 steps forward and 1 step back. That's exactly what has happened to Mile High as they just basically gave all of that penalty yardage right back to the Passion.
Yeah, and we've seen some snap miscues right there. It just looks like Santa Stevens thought the snap count was a little bit later. She's still looking at her wide receivers and looking at the defense there, and the ball snapped already, goes right off of her hip. And then good job by her to just go back and get that football for Mile High. But now you have a 2nd and 27. You're not calling plays very often from this line to gain here, so we'll see what they can mock up here on a very, very long 2nd and 27.
Yeah, Santa Stephen with great awareness as the quarterback, was the quarterback for the national championship, and this happens again. This time it's Paula Barnett that smothers it, but you could tell Santa Stephen is pretty frustrated, and I mentioned in their game against Nevada, despite a 35-13 win, there were some problems with the snaps with Nicola Williams at center.
And you hope with that week of prep that you could get some of those handled. But again, when you're in live game action, you just never know what's going to happen. And with this pass rush from the Passion, when you play center, you're so worried about just getting that ball back as fast as you can so you can get both hands up and ready to block. And I just think that pass rush for the Passion so far in this game has made Mile High very uncomfortable.
3rd and 37. Out of the hands of Peterson, incomplete, 4th down.
And I think they're going to have to punt. I know you really don't want to at midfield when you're down by this much, but I know people are probably laughing. It's 4th and 37. I know they have to punt. But again, you're down by this much and you're at midfield. At any other time, you probably wouldn't punt in this situation, but you have to. And you hope it's just a coffin corner. You really do not want to punt this ball to D. Harris.
The replay brought to you by Two Phrase Brewery, your neighborhood brewery. 2:32 to go until the half.
Would have been something else if we saw somebody go for it on 4th and 37. So,
you know,
there's
Damon,
my expert analysis right there,
I've seen
Jack.
it all. I feel like at this point, we've seen it all, man. At this point, you never know. Trickery, that's the beautiful thing, right?
Well, we did see a double reverse pass by the Passion already. You never know, like you said, and you might see a punt return here where they toss it back to D. Harris at any time they try to get her the ball here.
Archuleta blasts it away, trying to keep it away from Harris. Instead, she fields it. This could be trouble. Harris can't quite escape trouble.
Good job by Mile High there. They kind of pinned her in that right corner. I really like that whole punt coverage. You do a directional kick to make the sideline your friend. That's pretty much an extra defender for you there. So you make her cut back inside, and the Passion will get this ball back with 2 minutes and 20 seconds. We'll see if they're happy with this 34-point lead or they try to score one more time. I'm not saying this game's over, but you also got to be careful. You don't want anybody to get hurt because you might already get to kind of look forward. We know anything can happen in this second half, but you're up by 34 in this game.
Yeah, you never know what could happen. I mean, hey, maybe a local example, Pitt women's basketball, what they were down by 30-something in the first half this year and wound up winning. You never know. You really
Absolutely.
don't. It's
and
the beauty of
playoffs,
sports.
we've seen it in the NFL before where teams have 21-point leads and they end up losing a game. So we'll see if the Passion keep the pedal to the metal here, but we are going to have a false start, I'm pretty sure, on the Passion here.
Handoff goes to Smith as Mary Ramos in on the tackle, along with Brigham.
Now it's going to be on Mile High.
So looks like an offsides penalty.
I thought it was a false start from the movement, but they probably moved from the offsides. So that'll be 5 yards for the Passion. And usually, Jack, in these circumstances, you're kind of weighing your options. So you'll see like a first down run. If you get big yardage, then you go, okay, we're going 2-minute offense here. So I'm interested to see what these first 2 play calls are, and we'll get a gauge if they want to score one more time or they don't.
Well, that takes us to another timeout, the 2-minute timeout. 34-0 Pittsburgh. trying to finish the half with another score and get closer to a National Conference title game right here on Sportsnet Pittsburgh.
At Diesel Sports Complex, located in Cranberry Township, our mission is to develop athletes, empower families, and transform communities through elite coaching, innovative programs, and total player development. We proudly support female athletes and partner with the Pittsburgh Passion to inspire the next generation of strong, confident leaders. Whether it's private sessions, small group training, rep access, or full development memberships, we meet athletes where they are, and it starts with one visit, one session, one rep.
Nothing Pittsburgh. 2 minutes to go in this first half. Winner moves on in the playoffs. Pittsburgh trying to get to that championship glory and get to the National Conference title game on July 12th. Set up a meeting with either DC or Tampa Bay. Handoff goes to Smith. She churns her way forward, brought down right at the first down marker, enough to keep the chains moving as the clock continues to tick.
And like we talked about before break, I'm interested to see if they put the pedal to the metal here, and it looks like they are going to not even huddle up here if they try to score one more time, as Ari Smith's leg got a little bent there, but she's okay, just running off on the sideline. Get another fresh running back in there.
Yeah, and with the injuries that have definitely floated around the Passion roster, you want to be very mindful of that. Chavez flips to Peace, trying to break free, and a good job by Mary Ramos to wrap her up and take her down.
And Jack, I'm a football nerd. I love seeing speed option. You don't see it much anymore in the pro game. You see it in college, but right there, when you have a quarterback like Chavez, why not? A little speed option there. You can keep it yourself. You'll see her pitch at the last second. She's reading this outside linebacker and defensive end. They go after her. You just pitch it right off to your teammate, get a couple easy yards there, and that's another whole scheme you could play off of Chavez. She'd be an awesome option quarterback at any time as well.
Chavez, National Conference MVP last year, throws a bullet, and it's dropped by Malarski, but what an absolute rifle by Chavez. Incomplete, second down.
We're going to have to ask Chavez what she did this week, because, again, I'm seeing a lot of zip on her passes, and when she can get her feet set, I mean, it is an absolute cannon right here. Rolling out to her left, she sets her feet, and then she sees Malarski on an out route. Malarski thought she had it. One step, looks up the field, just drops it. But, again, look out for Malarski in these playoffs. I think she can be another receiving threat for the Passion. She's going to be upset about that drop, but we know at any time she has an explosive play in her back pocket as well.
Janine Norton on the coverage, but let's also give credit to Malarski coming back after being injured.
Absolutely.
And has not really skipped a beat either. 2nd and 10, less than a minute to go. Trickery again. This time Malarski leads the way. Trying to run from Barnett and can't escape fully. Priscilla Garcia, enough presence to push her out of bounds.
Good job by Mile High there. I heard reverse from their coaches right away to stay home there. A lot of people would bite on that reverse. So now you got 42 seconds, 3rd and long. We'll see what the Passion do. The worst thing that could happen here is a turnover, and then you give Mile High a little bit of momentum going into the half, and they get the ball back in the second half. So we'll see how they attack that. But when you have an MVP, you kind of just trust her whatever she sees here on this play.
3rd and 12. Chavez, play action, rolls, fires, reeled in by Cardillo. Short gain, but talk about pinpoint accuracy from 11 in black.
I think everybody's so caught up on her running ability at all times, but her arm today, it's just been so impressive how she's getting this ball down the field. But a really good stop there by Mile High. Nothing was really open downfield, so you just take the check down 5 yards, and it looks like Pittsburgh is just going to let this clock run. They're not going to have to punt the football here as we're heading to halftime here with 5 seconds, and Mile High is not going to use their last timeout either.
Well, to say the least, it has been all passion in this first half. 34-0 started the scoring from the very beginning, and really, Damon, they have yet to let up. And now the question begs is, what can Mile High do to try and get themselves out of, let's face it, a 30-plus point deficit with only 30 minutes of football left?
Yeah, we'll talk more at halftime, but for them, I think, again, it's so hard because Chavez is doing so much with her feet and her arm, but they're going to have to try to slow down this run game as much as you can, as I think we're almost ready for Susie Cool down at the field.
We'll have Susie momentarily as we get things figured out on the field. She is with co-head coach Lisa Horton, who I'm sure is going to be very happy about that first half. I'm sure there will be things that she obviously wants to see get cleaned up, but when you've got a 34-point advantage and you pitch a shutout through 2 quarters, not too shabby. So it looks like we are not going to have, unfortunately, just kidding, we do have Susie Cool on the sidelines. Susie, what do you have?
Thanks, Jack. Coach Horton, I heard it was all about the speed against Mile High's size today. So where have you best been utilizing that component of your game in that first half?
I mean, establishing our zone run game, and then just the compliments off of it. And everyone's executing really well. Chavez seeing the field really well throwing tonight. So we're just executing. We're making plays, and that was our goal coming in.
Yeah, we have to ask, did she eat something different this week? Because her arm looks like it's zipping.
Yeah, no, she has a great arm. And she's, I mean, I think with the leather ball and just the humidity, she's just ripping it. So it's fun to watch.
Thanks, Coach. Jack?
Thanks, Susie. Exciting stuff, especially when your MVP is firing on all cylinders. 34-0 Pittsburgh. Don't move a muscle. We've got our halftime fun and then second half action. Winner of this one moves on in the playoffs right here on Sportsnet Pittsburgh.
Quiet on set? No way. This is Jake's time to shine, and Ryan's, and our crew. Cameras, check. Drones, check. Checking that shot we just checked? Double check. We ain't got time to chill. We're out here capturing this action. This is when we get to work, to bring you every moment live, no matter what. Broadcasting changes everything. Transform how you experience the game with JRM Video Production.
At Diesel Sports Complex, located in Cranberry Township, our mission is to develop athletes, empower families, and transform communities through elite coaching, innovative programs, and total player development. We proudly support female athletes and partner with the Pittsburgh Passion to inspire the next generation of strong, confident leaders. Whether it's private sessions, small group training, rep access, or full development memberships, we meet athletes where they are, and it starts with one visit, one session, one rep.
Time for dinner.
Most individuals, when they have an injury, they want to get back immediately, whether that is getting back to work or getting back to sport or getting to their next yoga workout. We really want to give them pain-free function and mobility as best we can for the extent of their lives, so they can be active, so they can enjoy being with their loved ones.
Back here on our Title IX Pittsburgh Halftime Report, Pittsburgh's first women's sports bar, and we take a look at all of our Pittsburgh Passion partners in 2025. Big thanks to all of our wonderful sponsors. Welcome up here to the broadcast booth for our Halftime Report. Damon McDermott, Jack Ridenauer here with you. 34-0 Pittsburgh in front of Mile High, and let's face it, Damon, they are absolutely cruising through the first two quarters. We've seen a little bit of the pass game, some of the run game. We've seen the defense, special teams. Pittsburgh's truly firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, we just heard it from that coach interview. I mean, they're doing everything right here tonight. Exactly what you'd want from a first playoff game, and they're doing it. I mean, Marcelina Chavez is running well. She's passing the ball well. This defense is not giving up any big plays, and then special teams are executing. We knew Mile High. They had a punt return touchdown this year, kick return touchdown. But so far, the Passion has done everything right, and they checked every single box to hopefully make it to that semifinal round if they can keep this up in the second half.
Yeah, it was an explosive first half, and we'll take a look back at the first two quarters of action, and it was Pittsburgh from the jump that scored with Marcelina Chavez connecting with Cody Johnson, and Damon really felt from this play things were going to be on the up and up throughout the rest of the first and second quarter for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it was a 4-play touchdown drive to start, and you said, oh no, they're firing at all cylinders, and then Marcelina Chavez, she's going to call her number anytime right there, nice little read option, and here's some of the miscues, and then Tiana Cash cashes in on a big sack right there. And then you saw some trickeration here from the Pittsburgh Passion. And then we talked about Marcelina Chavez today. She is just zipping that ball over there. There's Cardillo with a nice pitch and catch. Almost broke free for a touchdown there. But, I mean, at any time, there are so many playmakers on this field. As you see the big stiff arm there by Malarski. I mean, we've just called so many different names in this game, Jack. But, I mean, they're all jumping off the screen and doing exactly what they need to do here for the Passion. It looks like a montage of highlights so far in this game for the Passion, because that's exactly what it's been. There's that skinny post touchdown by Marcelina Chavez as well. And then defensively, I mean, anytime you think the Passion might slip up, there's that tipped interception for the Passion right there for DeChico. And, I mean, everything is going their way so far in this one, Jack.
It is definitely a Pittsburgh evening, to say the least. 34-0, looking to go to a third National Conference title game in the last four seasons.
By the way, right here, she's fallen. Oh, there's a defender on me. I'm going to stretch, not even be able to see the end zone, and that's just an amazing play. And then you saw D. Harris, my favorite defensive player in the league, an unreal basketball player, an unreal football player right there with a strip tackle, and almost scored her own touchdown. And then finally they cash in one more time. Little second effort here by Bragg, and they get in the end zone. And that's how we have 34-0 for the Passion so far in this first half.
Well, Pittsburgh hopefully will have a lot to brag about after tonight. Don't move a muscle, though. We've got Matt Fargo that sits down with Chichi Gatto to discuss things from this season, all right here on Sportsnet Pittsburgh.
All right, Chi-Chi, third year with the Pittsburgh Passion, 2025 season. What are your goals for this season personally?
My goal is to just execute my role, my job for the team, whether it's on special team, offense, and just execute best of my ability, give it 100%.
What was your favorite part about why you decided to play for the Pittsburgh Passion?
Oh, my favorite part, that's just, I just want to stay in shape. I want to stay athletic, make new friends. I heard about the Passion when I was like 17. I never got the opportunity. So when I got the opportunity, it was a little nerve-wracking at first. Just there were so many talented girls, left and right of you. And it just pushes me like, wow, like I want to run faster than this. It just makes me just like, I feel good that participating something that like just makes me very excited.
What are some of the things that you are hoping the team accomplishes this year? Obviously, the championship has to be on the mind.
Oh, 100%. This year we're going for it. Taking it all in. And honestly, just the safety and the health for my teammates, my just staying recover, stay hydrated, and then just really just going for one game at a time. We got Tampa coming up first, and then just going down the line, and then just going to July, straight to Ohio.
Who are some of the veterans that have helped you along your journey?
Oh, yeah, honestly, Jana's been a great help. I mean, she's been in the wide receiver so long. She has so much experience, so much knowledge. Take it in from there. Zubo is such a great another one. Zubo is a player and a coach and fascinating. Like she has so much knowledge. Lisa, unbelievable coach. It's every day I'm learning something new, and they're just soaking it all in like a sponge.
I told you that there was going to be a quiz, and there is. The question is, how many Pittsburgh Passion National Championships are there?
3.
Nailed it. See? You knew it. Thanks, Chichi. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
At Loewe, we understand the power of personalization. From hats to water bottles, our expert services include screen printing, embroidery, and a variety of promotional items. We also specialize in team sports gear. What truly sets Loewe apart is our dedicated design team, including our talented on-staff graphic designers and exponential customer service. Choose Loewe to make a lasting impression on and off the field.
Let's change. Let's change the odds for the toughest infertility cases. Let's change survival rates for triple-negative breast cancer. Let's change outcomes for moms struggling with opioid addiction. Let's change the gender bias in medical research. Let's change the way the world treats women at McGeeWomens.org.
At Diesel Sports Complex, we don't just train athletes, we build game changers. Located in Cranberry Township, our mission is to develop athletes, empower families, and transform communities through elite coaching, innovative programs, and total player development. We proudly support female athletes and partner with the Pittsburgh Passion to inspire the next generation of strong, confident leaders in sports and in life. Whether it's private sessions, small groups, rep access, or full development memberships, we meet athletes where they are and guide them and their families through the journey. This isn't just a facility, it's a movement, and it starts with one visit, one session, one rep. Learn more at dieselsportscomplex.com, where we're better today than yesterday.
Supportive.
Grateful.
Inspiring.
Connected. Integrated.
Community. Communication.
Great.
Fun.
Meaningful.
Inclusive. Dedication.
Professional.
Care.
Opportunities. Excellent. Passionate.
Family. Family.
Awesome. Hi, I'm F. Doc Harris, and I'm here to talk to you about women's professional football. I've played a lot of video games, and I've watched a lot of football on TV, so that makes me an expert. I can tell you right now, I know what real football looks like. Oh,
hey, Doc. Thank you.
good luck this season.
Stay connected with all the action. Follow JRM Sports on X, Instagram, and YouTube. Get the latest highlights, exclusive content, and behind-the-scenes moments from your favorite sports. Don't miss a second. Follow us today.
Miller's Mini Storage has the extra room you need. For more than 3 decades, our storage facility in Elizabeth, PA has offered secure, affordable, and accessible storage solutions. Miller's Mini Storage has you covered. Simply bring a lock and key and keep your items safe at our location. New insulated units are available with dawn to dusk access. Storing with us is easy and convenient. Visit millersministorage.com today and reserve your space. Miller's Mini Storage, your space, your way.
Third quarter action is brought to you by UPMC Sports Medicine, the sports medicine provider of the Pittsburgh Passion. Seconds away from second half action getting underway here at West Allegheny High School. Thanks so much for joining us on Sportsnet Pittsburgh. 34-0 Pittsburgh in front of Mile High. A chance to play for the National Conference title game, to potentially play for a national championship on the line in this one. Damon McDermott Susie Cool, Jack Ridenauer, all here with you. Our entire JRM sports production crew. To give everybody in the truck a big shout out, Damon, fighting the elements earlier. There was a mad scramble to get everything covered. Cameras were falling. Some might think that the world was ending, but we're here and we're bringing you some live football action.
And that's the beauty of Pittsburgh. At one point, you thought it looked like a tornado was coming in, and then we get this game only 10 minutes late, but here we are. And then the Passion, you thought it might slow them down a little bit. You didn't get to warm up on time. I mean, they've hit on all cylinders. They're ready to go. And, I mean, just another playoff win. It looks like it's going to be here for the Passion. And then I'll try to get us some score updates, but it looks like it's going to be maybe the DC Divas. Yeah, they're still up 20-7. So, I mean, a third time, 1-1 this year. After that loss, a lot of people are asking if the Passion were still the Passion, and of course we know they are. You know, you just got to have some different storylines going in. And now a third matchup 2 weeks from today right here on our broadcast as well. I mean, that is going to be a must-watch game if they can take care of business here in the second half.
Yeah, and the two meetings between Pittsburgh and D.C. as Chavez getting worked on the sideline.
If anybody deserves some extra work on the sidelines for everything she's done in that
Absolutely.
first half. I mean, we joked around about her eating something different today because, I mean, the ball is just getting, it is a cannon out of her arm. And then what makes it worse, you finally slow down the passing game. She can run at any time as well. I am so impressed with her every single week. What a leader on offense for this team.
Passion 2 quarters away from punching their ticket to the next round of the playoffs. It's Archuleta and Peterson back to receive, and Archuleta reels it in. Feels around some blockers, slips through, and pulled towards the 45-yard line. A nice return here for the Blaze, who, again, right now, Damon, just trying to find anything to hang their hat on.
Yeah, I mean, they've ran the ball okay, but a lot of penalties, a couple missed cues on the snaps. And then when you get those third and longs, if your passing game's not working, you're just making it harder on yourself. So we'll see how they answer here. This first drive is very big for Mile High to see if they can get any momentum going here in the second half.
This Mile High team just 3 years removed from a national title in the Division II ranks of the WFA. Really, we're building up to that point. 2021, 6-1 that season. 2019, they were 8-2, losing in the second round. But they have yet to really crack through in their 3-year tenure thus far in the WFA Pro. First offensive drive in this second half. And it goes to Bibbs. Gets stopped by Anna Duffield and company, and the ball looks like it might have come out late, but they say that Bibbs was down first, so it brings up second down.
And right there, that is exactly what you need to do in this second half to gain any type of momentum. On first down, you got to take care of business. Get 5 or 6 yards. Right there, you got 7. So get a good first down carry, and then from there you can really then open up this playbook, do anything you really want, and I would just keep hammering Bibbs. I know how physical of a runner she is. She's one of their vocal points on offense. Keep giving her the ball early in this second half and see if you can make something happen.
2nd and 3. Santa Stephen over the middle, looks for Allensworth, too high, third down.
But again, because of that nice first down carry, you still got options here on 3rd and 3. You can either run or pass this, and I would guess you're at midfield already. You can take 2 plays to get this first down as well. You're not going to be punting much in this second half, down by 34. Every possession is key here for Mile High.
Passion faithful enjoying this one.
And what not to enjoy so far in this game for the faithful here. Always love seeing the fans come out, especially for some playoff football.
And despite the weather as well, and obviously a lot on the line for both teams this evening as Bibbs trucks her way forward, picks up a first down. Some strong running from Bibbs, who comes into today with over 200 yards on the ground.
Yeah, and we haven't got the highlighter as much in this game, but I really like how Bibbs runs the football, lowers her shoulder here, breaks one tackle, falls forward, and again, she's their vocal point. 52 carries on the years, 213 yards, averages 4 yards a carry, has 3 touchdowns on the year, and then when she gets a little bit tired, you can also bring in Reese Peterson, who has 210 yards and 3 touchdowns, and she averages 7 yards a rush. So you know this run game, if it gets going, it can get dangerous pretty quick.
There's the aforementioned Peterson, follows her lead blocker, trying to escape but can't do so. Ball comes loose, and Garayua falls all over it. What's the signal? And it looks
We're still
like
waiting. It's going to be a first down for Mile High, I'm pretty sure. Yep, it's still going to be Mile High football. So it looks like her knee was down. We'll see the replay here when that ball became loose. And yeah, she was down, and then it looks like it just squirted out when she kind of turned over. It looked like she was a little banged up on that play, but she got up on her own power. Good job by the Passion to play through the whistle, though. But Mile High still has the ball, and they are driving down the field down to the 27-yard line now.
Chris Garayua almost had another fumble recovery. Had one a few weeks ago against Cincinnati. 1st and 10. Blaze still looking for their first points. Santa Stephen unloads down the field, and it's caught. Barnett reels it in. Touchdown, Mile High.
What a pitch and catch for Mile High. They get on the board. What a throw by Santa Stevens to trust her receiver there on that pretty much deep 9 route down to the left side of the field. And what an answer for Mile High to come out here in this second half and score a quick touchdown. You'll see Santa Stevens set her feet, throw it only where her wide receiver can catch it. What a ball and what a touchdown for Mile High to come out in this second half and provide an answer.
Santa Stevens' first passing touchdown of the season. Melanie Archuleta on for the point after. Up and no good. Either way, though, the Blaze get on the board and crack the goose egg. 34-6. Pittsburgh still in control and now looking for an offensive answer right here on Sportsnet Pittsburgh.
Time for dinner.
Mile High gets on the board to make it 34-6, trying to dig into this deficit, but at this point running out of time. And Mile High in jeopardy of having their season come to an end here in the Steel City as Melanie Archuleta gets ready to blast this one down for either Dadza or Harris. Damon McDermott, Jack Ridenauer, Susie Cool all here with you this evening. Harris bobbles it and finally fields it. And maybe the patience pays off, tries to leapfrog her way forward, but either way, hurdles the 40-yard line.
You never know what she's going to do right there. She said, I'll try to hurdle 2 women there in the middle of the field to try to break one loose there. But again, what an answer by Mile High. That touchdown was by Naquai Barnett, who is listed as a defensive back, and maybe she said, hey, I can play some receiver too. We need to get this passing game going. Throw me up a deep ball and see what happens. And she answered. Was looking at stats. I don't think she has a catch on the year. So I was shuffling through papers to see who scored that touchdown. That's going to be her first catch of the year and first touchdown of the year.
Yeah, for Santa Stephen, that was her first rushing touchdown of the season as well. As Peace pitches it back to Chavez. Trying to get creative and instead throws a forearm.
That's her patented stiff arm. You never know when that's going to come. You think, oh, we have her on the sideline, we're just going to get her out of bounds. She's like, I'm going to hit you with one more stiff arm before I get out of bounds.
The flag on the play. Wonder if this could be illegal motion. Although, based on the reaction by Priscilla Garcia, this might be on Mile High.
Try our best to sniff out the flags as early as possible, as it will be a false start on the Passion. Or no, illegal formation, as you were right, Jack. I thought it was a false start, but it is a illegal formation off of that end around. And hey, if Mile High can force a punt here, I mean, you at least say, okay, we're getting back into this game as they score with only 2 minutes in this first drive in this second half, and there's a drop by Cody Johnson, a very rare drop, but now you have the Passion on a 2nd and long, and Mile High goes again. Like I said, if they can make a punt and score again quick, you never know what can happen in this game. It's far from over.
Yeah, Mile High comes into this evening on a little bit of a winning streak, a 2-game winning streak, their only winning streak this season after barely scoring any points through the first 2 weeks. While you look at Pittsburgh, and they have been one of the top scoring teams in the WFA at almost 45 a game.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. 2,396 total yards, and here's another deep ball.
Out of the hands of Bragg, sets up 3rd and long.
But if you look at how they break it down, you get 276 rushing yards a game. You also get 123 passing yards. And I feel like the passing game, they showed today, if they really need to use it, they can use it more. It's just the run game is so efficient. Why teeter from what you do so well? But Chavez is showing you, hey, I know a lot of people always love talking about how I run the football. She already had a highlight reel run in this game. But, I mean, her arm is as live as ever if they have to stretch the ball down the field the rest of the playoffs.
Chavez over the middle and out of the hands of Johnson. Good coverage by Mary Ramos. 4th and long, and first time that we have seen a drive stall here for Pittsburgh. And we'll hear from Susie Cool down on the sideline. Susie, what do you have for us?
Thanks, Jack. We've seen Passion quarterback Makai Chavez zipping passes this game, so I had to ask along the sideline, was this the game plan for Chavez headed into this game? Defensive tackle Valerie Mosley said, offensive coordinator and head coach Lisa Horton really listens to her players. She never goes into a game with a plan to take on a run defense or a pass defense. Mosley said that Horton will just really roll with whatever her players tell her. She'll really listen to them, and she'll plan from there. And you can see it with her listening to Chavez's pass game today.
Yeah, thanks, Susie. Definitely taking the advice and clearly working as Barnett fields it. And a good stop by Niedermeyer, who we talked a lot about at the top of the broadcast, Damon, with her stepping in for Kylie Roebuck at the center position. I know we highlighted that at the beginning of the broadcast, thinking that would be an issue offensively, but really Pittsburgh's been passing with flying colors.
I mean, the best thing for a center, if you ever ask anybody, is if you don't mention their name one time in the whole entire broadcast, because that means there's been no fumbles, there's been no miscues. We might shout out once or twice for a nice block, but other than that, you don't want to mention their name at all. And right now she's playing some defense as well. I know she wants to play some, so she was on the field. Unless she just got subbed out, I know she wanted to play some defensive line as well. So Niedermeyer is one of those players. She can just impact this game in so many different ways. And props to her to be able to play on both sides of the ball, at least sparingly, for this team.
Blaze back to work, 1st and 10. Bibbs with a strong run. Gain of 11 and moves the chains, and Leora Bibbs starting to get herself going a little bit.
Yeah, if you want to get back in the second half just like that first drive, you can get a nice run on 1st down right there. It's going to be 11, so they're going to get another 1st down. But Bibbs does a really good job always running with her shoulders low, and she's always making 1 or 2 women go after her legs because she's so strong up top right there with a nice shoulder shove once again, and that's a 1st down for Mile High. We'll see if they can put together another nice drive like we saw in the first 2 minutes of this half.
And around for Peterson, dragged down at midfield. As Mile High trying to take this one possession at a time, chip their way back into this one and get a first win in the playoffs since their time in the WFA Pro.
And Jack, we talked about it. We've seen crazier things happen. If Mile High can score again on this drive, you just keep chipping away. And honestly, your biggest foe in this game now is the clock. But good news, you scored the first time in only 2 minutes. So if you can get another quick strike here, you feel pretty good so far in the second half.
And this is a Blaze team that has been guided by Santa Stephen in the past to a national championship, trying to flex their muscle in the pro division of the WFA. Santa Stephen feels pressure, steps up, scurries away from Grant, stiff arms Dadza, gets the 1st down marker, and Harris finally brings her down, but Santa Stephen trying to put Mile High on her back.
We talked about in the first half. One thing we didn't talk much going into this game is her legs can be a weapon as well. Right there does a really good job. You'll see the pocket breaks down. You're going to have to step up. She sees nobody open downfield, breaks one tackle there, and then just use that speed to get away from the defensive line as quick as you can. Another stiff arm right there, and then what I love most, lowers her shoulder here on D. Harris and gets another extra 2 yards. So a nice play for Santa Stephen, and we're seeing this offense finally wake up a little bit here for Mile High.
And great football IQ for Santa Stephen as well. She actually coaches high school football in Colorado at Douglas County High School. 1st and 10. Bibbs stuffed. Big time stop by Niedermeyer. Courtney Sargent as well in on the action.
And with Niedermeyer taking some breaks here, you see Sargent playing a lot of that defensive tackle position, and she's done a really good job here in this game. I think the passion, maybe you're up by a lot, you go into the second half like maybe we can just kind of relax a little bit, but Mile High showing you like, hey, we're going to battle until the very end of this game. And so now the passion got to try to punch back here. That's a nice first down stop. We'll see if they can keep it going here, or is Mile High going to keep marching down the field?
Second down. Bibbs stuffed again. Niedermeyer back-to-back tackles. Gain of about 4 on the run, but either way, Niedermeyer starting to really buckle down defensively. And you mentioned it, Damon. Mile High gets a little bit of traction, a little bit of momentum, and a couple stops. Things start to feel different.
Yep, and give Niedermeyer a shout-out. It's crazy to look at. She is tied for the lead for tackles in this game, or in this season, with 40 when she's playing the defensive line. That is so impressive. That's like Aaron Donald type numbers right there when you have a defensive tackle leading your team in tackles. And then D. Harris, who plays safety, has 40 as well. But it just shows you Niedermeyer also has 4 tackles for loss. 55 combined tackles on the year. Is an absolute beast when it comes to the defensive tackle position here for the Passion.
3rd and 6. Pittsburgh looking for a stop, and they get a 4th down coming up for Mile High. Tyra Grant comes up on the stop, the former All-American basketball player at Penn State. But now it's decision time. If you're Mile High, do you keep this going on 4th and 2?
Yeah, I think at any time in this second half, you got to go for it. You're down by 28 right now. You're at the 25-yard line, so it's go time now. We'll see what they draw up. I'm guaranteeing somehow this ball gets to Bibbs or Peterson.
Big play here. Mile High trying to keep the momentum alive. Bibbs up the gut. First down pickup and some. Encroaching upon the 10-yard line and now into the red zone. Second red zone trip this half for Mile High when they had 0 in the first half.
Yeah, and one thing, and I don't want to jinx them, but on these 2 drives you haven't seen is flags and you haven't seen snap miscues. So if you can keep doing those 2 things, you're showing your run game, as we've seen all year, is dominant. You just got to stay on the field and you got to have manageable downs so you can keep running the football. And it looks like Bibbs just said, keep giving me the football. So we'll see if she gets her number called again here.
Bibbs does get it. Tripped up. Good job by DeChico from behind the line of scrimmage. Got a little overzealous. Almost got flagged, but not the case.
And Bibbs there a little upset. Her foot just got stuck in the turf and tripped up. She saw so much open field there to her left. You'll see it here on the replay. Makes a really good cut to the outside right there to set up your feet, but good job by the Passion just grabbing her ankle. She had so much open field to her left.
Mile High came into tonight winners of 2 in a row after going 1-3 through the first 4 games, combining for just 12 points through the first 2 weeks of the season. Looking for amnesia of that and their first playoff win in the WFA Pro. A flag.
We just talked about how they were avoiding them, but it's going to be delay a game. Just didn't get it off in time, so now you're slowing down this drive again. You finally started to get some momentum going your way. You got to avoid the flags in the second half and the snap miscues. Also, one thing to check, Jack, we saw Niedermeyer there give a thumbs up saying, hey, Coach, I'm good. I mean, I'm conditioned. I'm ready to go. I'll play both sides of the football for you here in this second half. So she's still in there as well for the Passion.
Yeah, when you were talking about her impact offensively and defensively, immediately I'm thinking What's her snap count tonight?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, not many players can do it. We see a couple in this league try, but playing a position where you get contact every single play as well.
Santa Steven over the middle and nearly intercepted by Harris.
There she is, the woman we always talk about. She's always in center field, ready to jump a route. Right there, just misses her 8th interception on the year.
That would have put her in a clear first place in all of the WFA Pro as you take a look at our 2 Phrase Brewery replay, your neighborhood brewery.
And just slipped out of her hand. You see how upset she is. Still a really good play to just get a pass deflection on there, but I think she saw all the open turf in front of her and she said, I'm going to take this to the house. So just misses it. But now it's 3rd and 17, so not all bad news here for the Passion.
3rd and long for the Blaze, but deep in Passion territory. Santa Steven, pressure comes from Zubovic, and Harris nearly with the spectacular interception. Talk about 2 cracks at it, but a flag on the play.
Harris looking up at the sky like, what do I got to do? I get so many interceptions. Why is it so tough in this game? As we'll see what the flag is as well. If this is on Mile High, you think they decline this one.
And it's an ineligible receiver downfield. It's declined, so it does set up 4th and long with 4.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Pittsburgh creeping closer to the finish line, but Mile High, albeit down, still on their heels.
Yeah, they've done a good job in the second half, but in this drive, we've seen a couple flags, and then you see D. Harris, they're trying a one-handed interception there, almost did it. She's smiling, looking at the sky like, I just want this 8th interception so bad, but here's a big 4th and 17, Jack.
Santa Steven, here comes Zubovic, crushes her. Barnett comes on top of it, but it's the general manager and the sheriff for the Passion, Kim Zubovic. What a stop for the multi-time All-American.
Kimberly Zubovic is literally everything you can think of when it comes to the Pittsburgh Passion. The general manager, the leader on this defense, gets a strip sack right there and says, hey, let's get an end to this comeback that Mile High is trying to do here in the second half. What a defensive effort by the Passion to stop that drive, and now they get the ball back and try to score their own right. But what a play and what a strip sack by Zubovic.
Zubovic, a Pennsylvania State Trooper by day, so let's face it, laying down the law on that last play. 4.5 to go until the 4th. Smith. Pinballs around.
You're quick with jokes today, too, I got to tell you.
Well, you know, I'll be honest with you, Damon. It's a sign of I have too much free time on my hands.
Okay.
I need to find hobbies. My hobby is talking into a microphone. It's been a long-standing thing. Anyways, we're sidetracked. I think right now, and I need to ask you, Damon, if you're Pittsburgh, do you try and maybe milk this all the way down the 4th quarter? Are you trying to go all the way down and score?
Here's my main focus, and maybe I worry a little bit too much. One of my flaws in my life, Jack, I would say, Chavez, you are sliding every single time. I know she won't, but as that's going to be an incomplete pass. I am running this clock down, and I'm keeping everybody healthy for the next 2 weeks. I know that there's still a slim chance Mile High comes back in this game, but we talked about the storylines. They've been hurt the last couple playoff runs. Why not have everybody completely healthy here and just survive this last 18 minutes of this, or 15 minutes of this game here? So, yeah, milk the clock is the long-winded answer there for sure.
Flag flies. Chavez off the bootleg. Finds Johnson. Has space. Lowers the shoulder. And drags her way down just shy of the 50-yard line. But we'll see what this penalty is.
When Coach T and Lisa Horton hear me tonight when they're rewatching this, so they'll be like, don't worry about it, Damon. All right, we know what we're doing, and we know we're going to be ready for that second game. I'm just here rooting for both teams to stay healthy for these playoffs, and that's going to be a flag on the Passion. But what a game so far for the Passion. So you just want everybody to stay healthy and be ready for a game here in 2 weeks, as we'll see on the replay. Just a little bit of early movement on that left side.
And it looked like Chichi Gatto is also stepping on the line of scrimmage.
What a day for Chichi Gatto, though, having a touchdown. Got to be interviewed by the famous Matt Fargo as well.
The voice of Pittsburgh Passion, yes.
Absolutely. So Kiki Gatto having a game as well, and not much has gone wrong here for the Passion, but here's a 3rd and 13. We'll see if Mile High can stop them here.
Chavez elects not to pitch it, and for good reason. Look at Chavez turn the legs. First down pickup when it's 3rd and 13. No matter the situation, number 11 is Houdini in these situations.
And she's getting up a little slowly, but she's okay. It looks like she got rolled up on by a Mile High defender who's still on the ground. But, I mean, what a magician is how I would describe that. It looked like that was a broken play from the start, and somehow she always just makes it work. What a play by Chavez again. As that is number 1. Taisha Lowry-Jones on the field for Mile High. That's still a little bit shaken up from making that tackle. Or is that number 0? That is Mary Ramos. Nice catch, Jack. I thought that was number 1 for a second, but Mary Ramos is still on the field.
We'll take a quick break for the injury timeout. 34-6 on a beautiful evening here in Pittsburgh.
Most individuals, when they have an injury, they want to get back immediately, whether that is getting back to work or getting back to sport or getting to their next yoga workout. We really want to give them pain-free function and mobility as best we can for the extent of their lives, so they can be active, so they can enjoy being with their loved ones.
Miller's Mini Storage has the extra room you need. For more than 3 decades, our storage facility in Elizabeth, PA has offered secure, affordable, and accessible storage solutions. Miller's Mini Storage has you covered. Simply bring a lock and key and keep your items safe at our location. New insulated units are available with dawn to dusk access. Storing with us is easy and convenient. Visit millersministorage.com today and reserve your space. Miller's Mini Storage, your space, your way.
Back here at West Allegheny High School on a beautiful evening just outside of the Steel City. Sun is setting. You could say what you want about Western PA's weather. Can't beat sunsets like that. And right now, Pittsburgh hoping that the sun sets on Mile High City. And there's some young fans also hoping they see a passion victory today.
Get the dance going here as well, as everything's been going right here for the passion.
Smith on the carry.
And you're right. I mean, it is a beautiful day. And the best thing about Pittsburgh, you could experience all 4 seasons in a matter of 2 hours. So
in a matter of 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. But once again, our grateful host, West Allegheny here. The field stayed in great shape, and we had a great playoff game so far in this game as a screen pass out to the left here for Kiki Gatto.
Tries to snake her way away from trouble. Ankle tackled by Janine Norton. Either way, does move the chains for another passion first down, and they just keep on moving, and they keep on putting the pressure on this Mile High defense.
Yeah, and again, it just at all times you don't know if they're going to say, hey, this drive we're going to really pound the rock, or this drive we're going to just let Chavez let it rip, and that's what's so dangerous about this team.
Chavez keeps on the RPO. Worms her way forward, hits the accelerators. See you later. Marcelina Chavez finds pay dirt. Touchdown, Pittsburgh.
We just talked about her. That read option has been always so dangerous for the Pittsburgh Passion. Chavez is always going to call her number when you're close to the red zone. Again, at any time when she hits that speed burst, it's bye-bye, and that's another touchdown for the Passion, now up 40-6. See it right here, read option. Everybody bites to the right. Chavez is going the other way, and then right when she hits that gap, there's the speed boost, and nobody's going to catch her, and she knows she's going to hit pay dirt, just like you said, Jack. And again, how dangerous is Chavez at all times? Now the Passion are up 40-6 once again.
Johnson on for the point after. What a day it's been for 11 in black. Kick is up, and it's money. 41-6, Pittsburgh cruising its way to a win, but we'll take another look at this touchdown. And again, just the incredible agility, the mobility, and the patience by Chavez on this run.
Yeah, again, read option, everybody goes left, Chavez goes right, does a really good job following Cody Johnson until this point right here, and then it's all about just finding a lane, and you can accelerate through, and then nobody's going to catch her. We know that, how fast and how dynamic she is. Another touchdown for Marcelina Chavez. Pleaded her case again. I mean, at any time she could be MVP of this league. And there's Chavez on the bench getting a much-needed breather, but I know she probably wants 1 or 2 more touchdowns in this game.
Well, easy to pick our drive of the game today, Damon, our Diesel Sports Complex drive of the game. That last drive, fueling potential, better today than yesterday.
And to give everybody a score update, because I know everybody's watching all the playoff action here on the WFA. Tampa Bay and the Inferno and DC Divas. DC Divas are up 35-7, so we look like we are going to get that much anticipated third matchup between the DC Divas and the Pittsburgh Passion just here in 2 weeks.
Melanie Archuleta quickly wrapped up by Santana Ramsey. Brought down at the 41-yard line with almost 90 seconds remaining in this third quarter.
Jack, maybe we could squeeze you in the booth for that game. You can be up here with us. You know, it seems like we're having a lot of fun up here with us today.
I think people at home are wondering, Matt Fargo's voice get lighter? No, I'm his stunt double. I am not Matt Fargo. Matt has other duties. He's a very popular man. I'm just, as I like to call myself, I'm deep in the bullpen. When you need a lefty, I step up and I'll throw an inning.
Are you actually left-handed?
I am left-handed.
Okay,
yeah.
You never miss on these jokes, then. I really appreciate them today.
I try, man. I try.
Anyways, yeah, I was about to say, I don't think they want our jokes as a little jinx there as well, but Mile High gets the ball back now.
Minute 36 to go until the fourth. Winner moves on in the playoffs. Loser, season comes to an end. Over the middle for Callista Ramos. And at the feet, incomplete, second down.
But I think it just shows how dominant this side of the bracket could be in this division this year. The DC Divas and the Passion, both teams that don't like each other very much, but they'll give each other props. They're well-prepared teams always, and they execute. And it just shows how strong this side of the division was this year, as both of them are dominating right now in their playoff battles. The Inferno just had a field goal, so they're up to 10 points. But so far, it looks like that's going to be the matchup we have. And then 2 more weeks, and then we're in the championship. Everybody wants to go to Cannon and play for that championship.
Santa Stephen has Allensworth, reels it in, burrows her way into Passion territory in a first down pickup. Beautiful strike by Santa Stephen, who today, Damon, has been throwing the ball fantastic despite only 18 total passes coming into tonight on the year.
Yeah, and maybe that kind of shows them what they can go into next year if Santa Stevens is their quarterback next year, as she is a leader on this team. They just need to open up the playbook a little bit more, get her a couple more passing plays she feels comfortable in, because we've seen the legs are dynamic. Her arm is very good as well. So going into next year, Santa Stevens hopefully can complete a couple more passes on these deep balls. But here's some pressure by the Passion.
Cash trying to get there, but it's Allensworth wide open inside the 25 and down into red zone territory. Back-to-back catches for Allensworth, who has matched her season total of catches in a matter of minutes, 2 in the last 2 plays.
And what great balls by Santa Stevens on both of these. You see her roll out, think she might get uncomfortable here, sheds one defender, sets her feet, rifles one down to the right side of the sideline right there. What a pitch and catch, and Mile High saying, don't forget about us. We still got some time here in this game, and I will say this second half, their offenses look way more dynamic than we saw in the first half.
Final 5 seconds in the third quarter. They elect to go for it. Santa Stephen over the middle, and it's intercepted. D. Harris with a burst of speed. Look at 12 go. Jukes past Bibbs, still on her feet. To the 30, to the 20. Harris with a buzzer-beating pick 6, her first of the season. What a way to cap off the third. D. Harris, absolutely dynamite.
Jack, can you believe it? We just saw a 102-yard pick 6 for D. Harris. We talk about her every single game. She's a human highlight reel. Just when you think Mile High is going to get another touchdown, D. Harris playing center field gets a 102-yard pick 6. Someone please get D. Harris some oxygen.
D. Harris with her first pick 6 of the year, her 8th interception of the season, and a buzzer beater. The horn sounded as the ball left Santa Stevens' hands. Oh man, it is a good night to be a Passion fan. Johnson on for the point after to put the cherry on top. Kick is up, and it's good. 48-6, thanks to D. Harris with the defense. Once an all-defender in basketball, and now showing it off on the gridiron.
I said 102. Give her 103. I mean, that was deep in the end zone. And then from here, you think she's going to slow down. I thought she might go out of bounds right here. She said, no, I'm trying to take this to the house, just like my power turn last year. And then it's all about, at this point, nobody's in front of her. Just keep your feet going. And then finally, she gets in the end zone. I don't know how she's still on her feet here, Jack. Get her some oxygen, please. 103 yards. What a return for D. Harris. At any time, she can provide a highlight.
Passion 15 minutes away from a playoff win. Coming up next on Sportsnet Pittsburgh.
Let's change. Let's change the odds for the toughest infertility cases. Let's change survival rates for triple-negative breast cancer. Let's change outcomes for moms struggling with opioid addiction. Let's change the gender bias in medical research. Let's change the way the world treats women at McGeeWomens.org.
Fourth quarter action is brought to you by D1 Training North Pittsburgh. Train different with D1 Training. And after that play by D. Harris, that might
be a
little
different, I'll say that.
Yeah, that was probably a D1 caliber play. My, oh my. 100-plus yard pick six to the house. After this kickoff, we'll take one more peek back at it because it was that good. Ring, ring, ring. House call, and D. Harris, she picked up.
What a boot here by Cody Johnson, too.
A former soccer standout at Ottawa University showing off the leg. Alicia Archuleta.
I think we're going to see it one more time.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a play that we could watch 10 times over, but I mean, again, I don't know how you don't run out of steam. I don't know how you stay on your feet, but what a play by D. Harris. Unbelievable. You'll see it from this camera angle this time. So Mile High, the buzzer is right now. They try to throw it up for a post. D. Harris sniffs it out right away. She is 3 yards into the end zone and takes it all the way back for a 103-yard touchdown. D. Harris, you surprise us every single week with your playmaking abilities. What a play. We'll remember that one forever. What an interception. What a pick six. D. Harris, I think we thought Marcelina Chavez had play of the game. I don't know. Now they're going to be competing for it.
Well, not to mention Harris, I talked about her being a 4-time Conference Defender Player of the Year in college for basketball. She was also part of some great LaRoche basketball teams that won the AMCC tournament a couple times, went to NCAA tournaments. So Harris, not only a fantastic athlete, she knows what it takes to win in these massive moments deep in the season.
Yeah, absolutely, and I know she really wants to play in Canada, and 8 interceptions. She could get 10 by the end of this year. There's her lurking right there, almost for number 9, but I mean, when you have a player like this in the back of your defense that can make a play at any time, you just feel so comfortable playing only one safety back there. You trust her. She has instincts to know if she needs to go to the left side or the right side. Just let her play her zone, and she's going to make plays. And then when you're a quarterback, if you like throwing deep, you just never know when D. Harris is just going to pop out of nowhere. Right there, it was a post, and you thought D. Harris was going to kind of leak to her right. She stayed right in the middle and just jumped right on that post. 103 yards later, cloud of dust. It's unbelievable.
Great awareness all the way around. 2nd and 10 for the Blaze as their season quickly coming to a close. Bibbs jukes around, slowed down by Tiana Cash, and Tyra Grant also around the tackle.
Love seeing the Passion 2 help her up. Bibbs has been running really tough here tonight for Mile High. Right here you see she'll shake off 3 different defenders, and finally they bring her down. But I really like what I've seen from Bibbs here in this game. She's facing one of the most dominant defenses you're going to see all year. She's doing everything she can to try to keep Mile High in this game.
Yeah, this Mile High team, again, They were dominant in Division II in the WFA before moving up to the Pro Division. Since being in the Pro Division, they've been about a 500 team each of the last 3 seasons.
And we know it's a big step up, as we're going to get a false start there on Mile High. It's a big step up in competition. It shows you they have been dominant in D2, like you said, and they making the playoffs is an achievement in its own right, but now it's all about how are you going to stack wins here in the playoffs. We always hear about the passion and the Divas, excuse me, and now it's you want to be that next team every year. You're like, oh, they're going to make the second round or the championship game, and I think they'll get there eventually. They have a lot of really good key players on this team that I know want to win a couple playoff games here for Mile High.
3rd and 12. Santa Steven drops back, looks for Whitehead, incomplete. Ramsey on the coverage.
Reminds me a lot, sorry Jack, when last week Passion played Cincinnati, a team in Division II that has just been one of those, they just at any time could score touchdowns, and they played the Passion that first half so tough, and then the Passion ran away with it in the second half. But it just shows you, even in Division II now, they're getting so competitive, and they can play with some of these big pro teams. And a lot of those teams look at Denver, Mile High, sorry, as I do it one more time, as the Blaze, just showing like you can make this step up and you can compete with a lot of these big teams.
Without question, there's clearly been progress each of the last couple seasons for them as well. They have gotten better, so it's just a slow build.
Yep.
As flags fly, Archuleta gets it away. This could be against Mile High. We'll see as D. Harris wisely gets away from it.
Archuleta has a nice little rugby-style, soccer-style punt as well, as she just runs to her right and kicks it. As she's more comfortable on that size, I think you're always playing with fire, though, kicking to D. Harris. We just saw how that can end up. And I asked Coach T one week, I said, is there any plans to try to get her the ball on offense? And they've done it in practice a couple times. I'd love to see maybe her get a reception or two, but I guess don't break what's working right now. You got so many other playmakers. Just let her focus on defense and returning punts and kicks.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, my friend. 48-6, Pittsburgh inching closer to a first-round win and getting to the National Conference title game. Again, they'll play the winner of DC and Tampa Bay, which last checked it might be and could be DC. And ironically enough, in the 2 meetings with Pittsburgh and DC this season, Damon, both road teams won. So something to look at. Again, theoretically, if that is a 3rd time around on July 12th, something to pay attention to.
And the Passion would have the home game. So just to let everybody know how that would go.
Here's Malarski. Gets the edge. Check that piece on the carry. Brought down.
It's happened to me a couple times. Now that you have 3 different running backs that can get carries, you got to pay attention who's back there at all times. So again, it's unreal that how much all these different weapons they have on this team, as we're going to have an injury timeout.
Well, it looks like Callista Ramos for Mile High and then Peace here for Pittsburgh. Both a little slow. We'll see how Peace takes his hit and then quickly crawls out of bounds.
As Ramos is a little shaken up there when Malarski lowered her shoulder on that play. And again, in these playoffs, just want to try to keep everybody healthy. Both of these teams had amazing seasons, is seeing if Ramos is going to be able to get up from her own power or not. Again, look at all the Passion jerseys in the crowd here today.
Let's throw down to Susie. She has a little bit more about the D. Harris touchdown celebration.
Thanks, Jack. We saw D. Harris with that 103-yard touchdown, and she said, say less. But no, that was actually what her reaction was as she came off the field. Jack and Damon, you joked that she needed oxygen. Every one of her teammates was trying to hand her water, congratulating her, and she even jokingly laid down to take a nap on the bench as she was celebrating with her teammates. She said, they tried to take me down, but I said, say less, and then she took it to the house. Jack?
Yeah, she definitely did take it to the house without question.
So it looks like Ramos is going to be able to get up on her own power, which is nice. But yeah, I mean, I'll tell you this, I couldn't run 103. I don't think most of us can. And I mean, I can't believe she stayed on her feet even to get to the sideline.
I'd be worried about getting to the 30-yard line.
That's what I mean. And then everybody's trying to hand her water. She's just trying to catch her breath. And again, I thought she was going to go out of bounds. And she said, nope, I'm taking this one to the house. She always got a nose for the end zone. It's unbelievable how she plays football. And she's probably still talking about it now. I know I'd talk about it for the next 20 years if I made a play like that. And she was all over the WFA Instagram last week for a punt return touchdown that we called. And then at any time, she can just make a humongous play. It's so fun to watch Dee Harris play football.
A walking highlight, as they might call it. Garcia with the pressure, but Chavez gets it away to Cardillo. And Cardillo crafts her way forward, taking down inside the 45 to the 42-yard line in Blaze territory. And this Pittsburgh team, despite being up by over 40 points, they are making sure that there is no chance for Mile High to come back, as there's another injury down on the field for the Blaze.
Watch this, though. You think, or here's the Malarski run first. Again, a good run by Malarski, but Chavez there, you thought she was uncomfortable in the backfield. She uses her hand to just toss that one up, a nice little flip screen pretty much to Cardillo, and you end up getting 20 yards. There's just nothing the pass can do wrong here in this game right now.
It's Jocelyn Huntsman that is down for the Blaze. We talked about the Blaze's story and how they've been the last few years. And as you take a look back at the play, and a good job by Chavez to once again improvise. When things go wrong, she still finds the right way to get out of trouble.
The biggest thing for her is, and a lot of mobile quarterbacks, they don't have their eyes down the field at all times, and Chavez does, and that just makes her so much more dangerous. She's still reading the defense as she's running away from pressure or about to tuck the ball. Right there off of her back foot, just a nice little flip screen play, and you end up getting 15, 20 yards.
Well, the other thing we've talked a lot about too, Damon, is the ability by Chavez to get so many players involved in the offense. The widespread ability. You've got Cardillo, you've mentioned Malarski, Smith, Peace, the list goes on. And we'd be remiss, and I know we mentioned it in the first half, but Jana Meister out with injury. That's another option that she has when she comes back fully healthy. So there's really a plethora and a whole stable of weapons that Chavez is able to utilize. As we'll hop back up here in the press box.
As we're back.
Hello.
How we doing, everybody?
David McDermott, Jack Ridenauer, and yeah, this has been just an absolute dominant performance here by Pittsburgh yet again.
Yeah, what a first game for you in the playoffs to be a part of this action. And you've seen Dee Harris, you've seen Chavez, two of the most dynamic players. They've lived up to all the hype, I guess, when you were doing all the research for these games. And I mean, it's been an unbelievable game. And right now we keep talking about, but we might have a matchup between the Passion and the DC Divas, a game that you have to come and watch, because that's going to be some action that you don't want to miss here in 2 weeks.
I could just listen to you and Matt Fargo. That'd be easy, right? I could just do that. But yeah, no, it's been an absolute blast seeing how this Passion team's able to play, keep things rolling. You know, it can be hard. You mentioned it about kind of taking your foot off the gas. There was been really, outside of maybe a little bit in the third quarter, no signs of complacency from this Pittsburgh team. And I know when I talked with Coach Kahn earlier this week, she highlighted how, again, a lot of these players, they're hard workers. They're coming from their day jobs. They're getting to practice at 7 or 8. They're leaving practice at 11. You look at Ellie Malarski. She's a teacher at Pine Richland. So she's ending her day at 4 or 5, going up to practice at 7, getting done at 10, going to bed at whatever time, and then getting up and dealing with students the next day, and they still come out here and put forth so much effort and want and desire, and it's truly a masterpiece to watch.
Yeah, it's unreal. And imagine being a student of Malarski and knowing that your teacher is also a star running back for the Pittsburgh Passion. That's got to be something else, and it just shows, again, how awesome this league is and why it keeps on growing, and why I tell everybody, you got to watch it, because it's unbelievable what these ladies do on the football field.
Ari Smith taken down by Tamara Taylor. As we're going to get another beautiful scenic shot here. Look at that, a rainbow. Actually, I saw a double rainbow the other day, Damon. I don't know if that signifies anything, but it turned into a beautiful evening after, obviously, the torrential downpour. Again, got to give a big shout out to our whole crew in the truck. Corey Berger, our director. Jake Mislivchik, the producer. Man behind the operation, our whole JRM Sports production team. Chavez can't connect with Johnson, and it sets up third down.
Props to everybody. Again, we faced elements for like 15 minutes, but other than that, if you get a Pittsburgh night like this, you can never complain. And what gracious host West Allegheny has been as well. What a beautiful backdrop for this playoff game. And I don't think Pittsburgh's going to complain about playing here again when you're up 48-6 for another big-time matchup in 2 weeks. And thank you to Jack. You know, you're up here with us in the booth today doing a great job as well.
Man. And again, for you at home that are wondering, did Matt Fargo's voice get lighter? It did not. Like I said, I'm just his body double. Pass completed to Cardillo. You mentioned about Chavez's throwing today, Damon. I think it's been the accuracy and her ball placement where she's had some of these passes. Only her receivers are catching it.
Yeah, and what's so impressive again is you'll see on this replay, anytime you think she might just tuck it and run, her eyes are always downfield, something they preach to you as soon as you start playing quarterback. So right there, at any time she could say, hey, I'm just going to run this ball, but keep your eyes downfield. You see an open receiver, rifle it in there just like she did right there.
1st and 10. Pittsburgh getting closer to a semifinal appearance. Here comes Smith trying to slice her way forward. Flag flies.
Might be a holding there on the Passion downfield.
Mary Ramos on the stop. And it looks like they're just going to pick it up. Yep.
Sometimes when you get such a good block, the ref wants to call a hold, and the other guy goes, no, it's just a clean block. So you pick up the flag and keep on going.
Damon, I want to go back to a point you made about the turnout tonight for this Passion team. You know, they've had such great following since they started back in 2002. Their first few seasons, you go back to the 2003 year, they averaged about 3,000 fans a game. That number jumped to 4,000 a game in 2004 as Chavez somehow escapes, pirouettes, and keeps going. And once again, turns a negative into a positive and leaves the defense in the dust.
But like you were saying, the crowd turnout you see here tonight for this playoff game, you think in 2 weeks they pack the house even more. But as you said that, I saw Niedermeyer waving to some fans that are always here. So it's unreal how the community kind of goes all around this team, and they root for them all the way through. And I know in 2 weeks this is going to be another packed house. And why not? Why wouldn't you show up for football in July when you got Marcelina Chavez running all over the place, Niedermeyer making tackles left and right, and then at any time D. Harris can give you a play that you'll never forget.
Devin Peace wrapped up by Ramos. Mentioned about Peace this season, top 4 rusher. Last year was the main ball carrier, led the team, and was 3rd in all of the pro division with over 760 yards. Carries some momentum into tonight after scoring in the regular season finale against that really good Cincinnati team, Damon, you mentioned, out of the Division II ranks. That they also had a really aggressive running back, very similar to Bibbs here tonight.
Oh, absolutely. And then for Devin Peace, like you were just talking, there's a big tackle from Mile High there.
Ramos comes swooping in.
But Devin Peace was dealing with a little bit of injuries this year, so we didn't see the same rushing numbers. But now you have her back, too. You have Malarski. I mean, you can just go so many different ways with this offense. I keep talking about it, but it's unbelievable. You just have so many playmakers, and that's why the stands are filled with Pittsburgh Passion fans. They come out here. Look, we even got some fat heads right there. We got the boomsticks up there. I mean, it's a good time. It's rocking up in the stands at all times. Got some dogs here. I mean, anything you can ask for.
Bark at the park, maybe. Timeout here for Pittsburgh. 48-6. Passion lead. 8:43 to go in the 4th quarter. Want to expound even further on this Passion team because they haven't just been good in the WFA. They've been good all throughout the different leagues that they've been in. You go back to their time in the IWFL, they actually captured 2 of 3 league titles in a short span, and then you go back to their time in the NWFA, made it to the championship game that time in 2008 after going 8-0. So the standard of success has always been so high. And again, when I talked with Coach Kahn, and she mentioned how since 2004 it's been a winning season for Pittsburgh, she highlighted how very similar to the Steelers, you know, that winning pedigree, that winning culture, and it's truly ingrained here in this Western PA area.
And what's amazing to me, before I started doing these games, I just remember growing up, I knew who the Pittsburgh Passion were because they were always winning championships when we were growing up.
Malarski trying to strip free, and Mary Ramos continues to be very active. Another tackle for 0 and white.
And it just shows you football, no matter who's playing, men, women in Pittsburgh, there's a standard always, and they always live up to that standard as the Passion are trying to get another championship for the City of Champions this year.
Another good shot there of Malarski getting back into the groove after being hampered by injury recently. Former track and field athlete at Slippery Rock. Here's the track and field speed by Peace, but a flag is chucked.
It's going to be a block in the back, so this one's going to come back. Devin Peace, that's the second time she's had one called back today. She's like, what can I do here? So she's going to try to get one more, and it seems like the Passion are going to try to run the ball as much as they can here and chew as much clock so they can get into that second round unscathed with injuries, as I will check for scores one more time for us, because I know a lot of people are very interested in these other games. It is final. DC Divas win 35-17, so a little bit of a comeback for the Inferno in the second half. But all the WFA fans out there, you're going to get your wish. A big rivalry game in the second round, the DC Divas versus the Pittsburgh Passion. We will be very excited to bring that to you here in 2 weeks.
Malarski gets mashed on the run by Shantavia Brigham. Does bring it inside the 10 for a first and goal. 7.5 minutes to go in this one. As Pittsburgh minutes away from a rematch with DC. Miscue on the snap. Peace trying to clean up the mess. Looks for the edge. Runs over a Blaze defender in Mary Ramos. 5-yard gain.
Jack, we're going to get you in those stands in 2 weeks. We're going to give you a mic. You'll be right down there with the fans. We'll do that.
Can I be would I be like the stand reporter? I don't want to be the sideline reporter, because Susie's got that.
I can be just Susie will come up here and
right. No, I'll be the
sideline desk. There you go.
Okay, I'll do that. Yeah, crowd control.
We'll put you right under that Aid Nation tent down there, and we'll just give you a desk and a mic.
Malarski stammers her way forward, but another flag comes. Well, either way, if I can't make it, I get to watch you and Matt. I think that's the enjoyment.
Yeah, I guess you can.
The flag does go against Pittsburgh, so it backs up the Passion some. But either way, Pittsburgh, I think now the question again is, they've gotten to the conference title 2 of the last 3 years. They've lost 2 of those last 3 years. Can they get through that barrier and push past it when they meet up with DC in 2 weeks?
Well, we'll talk a lot about this matchup because we're going to have 2 weeks to do so. But again, the Passion won the first matchup 56-27 when they went to DC. And then 2 weeks ago, they played DC. But again, DC was coming off of a bye week. So they did have a little bit of extra rest, which we know is very important in this league. And they won that game 22-19, and it was one of those games where it was just so. It was one of those games too for Pittsburgh where DC Divas kept converted on 3rd and longs. I mean, they kept getting on their own fumbles. So it's one of those games. Everything was kind of battling against the Pittsburgh Passion. So it's going to be really interesting because I'm not giving credit to the DC Divas. Beating the Passion at any time is a very big achievement. So. Again, that is going to be a very interesting matchup in 2 weeks, and it's a chance to go to Cannon. So, I mean, both of these teams are going to come in here well-rested and ready to go.
I'm sure our furry fan is eager to see the end of this one. Previous play, Bragg fumbles recovered by the Blaze and by Leilani Kamal, who I have to throw this note out there, Damon. Leilani Kamal and Nakua Barnett, both on Mile High. They are current students at Ottawa University, both freshmen. Kamal plays on the women's flag football team, Barnett on the women's basketball team. Ottawa University is the alma mater of Pittsburgh Passion's Cody Johnson, where she was a fantastic soccer player and took Ottawa to 2 NAIA Sweet 16s. The more you know.
I mean, you know it all. Right?
I don't know it all. I couldn't count in the first half, remember? Santa Steven airs it out. Jump ball, and it's incomplete. Ramsey in on the coverage as it was intended for Whitehead.
But it's so nice for the viewer to hear a lot of these backstories where these women are doing so many other things, but they cannot shake the passion they have, for less of better words, for this women's football league and why it's so addicting to all of them and why they love it so much. As you'll see the replay again on that tipped almost interception, and it shows you how many amazing athletes we have in this league now.
A lot of former college athletes, and I asked Coach Kahn about that, and she said that it wasn't one particular sport that athletes were coming over from. It's a wide range. You've got softball, you've got basketball, Mile High. Last play, Carmen Whitehead, she was a tennis player in college at McAllister College in Minnesota. Santa Steven can't thread the needle.
And I think it just shows you, too, a lot of people after college, they go, what can I do competitively? How can I get those juices still going? And for a lot of these women, they find this league, and then it's like, wow, this is a whole new thing, and I love it so much. And that's why you see people like Niedermeyer and Zabovic, they've been playing for so long, but they have to. They love it. They want to get a championship for their city, and again, for their team. You're around these women every single day working so hard, and they do such a good job representing their city and team. So again, Mile High, you don't get the win here tonight, but you should be proud you made it to the playoffs. You got to travel all the way to Pittsburgh, and for Pittsburgh, you get 1 or 2 days off, and then it's right back to working hard and trying to get to that championship once again.
Bibbs muscles her way forward. 6 minutes to go in the fourth. Pittsburgh getting closer to that semifinal matchup with DC. Again, it would be the third meeting this season between the two teams. First one going to Pittsburgh, 56-27. Tip your cap, though, to the Divas. 2 weeks later, they come here to Pittsburgh and beat Pittsburgh 22-19. So that rubber match, especially for essentially a chance to play in a national championship later in July, that's going to be a good one.
Oh, it's going to be a good one. And I mean, it reminds you a lot of like Steelers, Baltimore Steelers, Bengals. I mean, they'll tell you, they give each other props until they get on the field, and then they do not like each other in the least bit. It is a fun rivalry that I got to see for the first time in my first game for the Passion. And I mean, I was so excited to see it, and now I get to see it for a third time. And for all the stakes that are included, I mean, it's going to be must-watch TV, and I can't wait for everybody to watch along with us.
Time continues to tick away on Mile High season.
Season 2 that we talked about, they started out 0-2. They might have not even thought they could have made the playoffs, and they even make the playoffs, start an 0-2. What an achievement, having a 2-game win streak. And I know they're excited just to be here, but me and you talked about it. Going forward, the storyline's going to be, how do we get that first playoff win? We did so well in Division II. We're now up with the Pro Division, and we're getting to the playoffs. But what do we need to do in the offseason so we can finally get that first playoff win here in the Pro Division?
Yeah, through the first 2 weeks, Mile High combined for 12 total points after a shutout loss in the first week, and then a 40-12 loss the second week. But since week 3, they picked up steam. They finished the year 3-1, so they were able to right the ship. But they, like you said, Damon, ran into a buzzsaw of a team. Again, really the staple of success in the Pro Division as nightfall commences. I wonder when a full moon is happening. 48-6, Pittsburgh with less than 5 to go in this one. Flag flies. Could be a free play for Santa Stephen. Escapes one tackle, but not the second. Dragged down by Nicole Hartman. We'll see what this flag is.
As we're seeing some players on defense, we don't see as much out here celebrating some sacks. Love to see it as all these women work so hard out there. But it looks like there is going to be a flag, and it is going to be offsides.
So penalty goes against the Passion.
Is there actually a full moon tonight, or was that just a joke? I just want to make sure.
No, it was not a full moon.
Okay,
I was just curious when a full moon is.
Okay,
No. Why, are you a werewolf?
No, I'm not a werewolf.
Okay. Okay. You look very concerned there. I was like, uh-oh, are you holding a secret from us?
No secrets. Just,
July 10th says Jake Mislipchik, our producer, for the next full moon. Thank you, Jake.
You also want to hear, we're breaking the fourth wall here. You pronounce his name correctly. I don't think I ever have, and this is your first broadcast with us, so congratulations.
I had to go and find Matt Fargo and say, hey, how do I say his name without asking Jake? And then Jake kindly said, hey, this is the phonetics. I said, great, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
He's never given, first off, phonetics. We're covering everything today. I'm learning a lot.
Santa Stephen gets covered up there. And a fourth down coming up with 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. And Pittsburgh continues to show the dominance that they possess. We'll say the interesting thing, too, about the DC-Pittsburgh rivalry, former defensive standout Jennifer Bova, who played 6 years for the Pittsburgh Passion, now playing for the DC Divas. So just really adds a little bit more oomph to that rivalry.
And Jack, we might just have to have you going as a researcher for that next game so we can get some more storylines going as well. I mean, we know a lot of them, but I mean, you're digging deep here. And again, that rivalry, it's funny when you look into stuff, you're just going to see more and more storylines heading into that game because we got 2 weeks until that. But just to make things worse here, Dee Harris is back there, and I think she wants one more touchdown. So we'll see if they kick it her way. They've been directionally kicking it to the right. She's lined up on the left side, so And there's going to be a timeout by Mile High.
Timeout for the Blaze. We'll keep it right here with 3:14 to go in the fourth quarter. And it's been a fun second half. And it's been a lot of scoring, not as much scoring in that first half. But we can take a look back to some of the plays and tip your cap to Mile High. Getting that second half score felt like maybe they were starting to conjure something up.
Yeah, I mean, it was a perfect deep ball right there, and you thought, okay, Mile High's coming back in this game. You'll see it. And then there was the sack, strip sack by Zabovic right there. And then here's the Chavez run. It was pretty much a broken play and said, you know what, I'll do it myself. Goes right up the middle of the field, breaks a couple tackles. At all times, too, she's going to make one or two women miss. And then here's another run by Chavez to the right, and this is where she put on the afterburners right here, hits that hole, followed Cody Johnson so well, and that's another rushing touchdown for Marcelina Chavez.
Punted away and fielded by Dadza. Takes it down the sideline and into Blaze territory with 3:02 to go in the fourth quarter.
Thought Dadza was going to take one back there for a second, trying to steal a play out of Harris's playbook there.
You talk about the college athletes. Grace Dadza, former multi-time All-AMCC selection at Pitt Bradford for softball, so she knows a thing or two about the AMCC, like her teammate Dee Harris.
So we get some hair on the field there. You got to bring that back to the sideline as well. You never know what you're going to see out here as they're all laughing about it. They'll get it all back there with 3 minutes to go in this game. I wonder how that conversation was to get Chavez off the field as well. I mean, you know, I wonder how that went. Chavez, I know, does not want to sit at all, but I think she understands she's got to stay healthy in this game as well.
Yeah, health is the top priority, especially when Chavez was not fully healthy last year. Smith, burst of speed, shot out of a cannon inside the 30 and encroaching upon the 25.
Do you think we got a chance of an Aid Nation water jug toss going on one of these coaches? That's what I'm kind of looking for on this sideline. Or maybe they outlaw that. They don't let that happen. Some coaches say, hey, listen, we're not doing that. So I'm just keeping my eyes peeled here on the sideline as well.
You could be our water cooler watcher.
Water cooler watcher. I mean, I've had some weird jobs in my day, but that might go down as the weirdest as we get a timeout on the field. I don't know. Maybe you don't celebrate first-round wins when you've been to the second round so many times. You know what I mean? There's a standard here in Pittsburgh, as it seems.
I think that's the big thing is you don't want to get too ahead of yourself, right?
Yep.
And I think especially for Pittsburgh, a team that has gotten really close to a national championship in the WFA, haven't quite got there yet. So maybe the mindset now becomes we have to stay focused until the absolute final buzzer sounds.
Yeah, and I could see Coach T saying, okay, we're going to celebrate tonight. But after that, we know what's at stake. We know who we're playing, too. And that's going to be, I guarantee they're back in the film room tomorrow. You watch this game, you say, hey, good job. Right on to the next. I know a lot of other teams would celebrate a playoff win. They will tonight. But after that, right back on it because you got a big matchup in 2 weeks. And I know they're going to be ready for it. So... And there's the not full moon.
Not full moon.
If anybody's wondering.
Guess that'd be a crescent moon.
You know way more about moons than I do. I don't.
Ball looked like it might have been loose, but not the case as we approach the 2-minute timeout.
It looks like we are going to get there without another play being called.
We'll have lots of happy sponsors and a lot of happy Passion fan. Beautiful evening here in the Steel City and for Pittsburgh. 48-6, it leads.
Hi, I'm F. Doc Harris, and I'm here to talk to you about women's professional football. I've played a lot of video games, and I've watched a lot of football on TV, so that makes me an expert. I can tell you right now, I know what real football looks like.
Oh, hey, Doc. Thank you.
Good luck this season.
And there you see the masterminds behind the madness. Jake Mislivchik hiding, as well as Corey Berger hiding. And see right there, you just saw an exact cut. Jake literally said, fade to sunset, and you fade to sunset. That's behind the scenes, if I've ever seen it. Beautiful evening here in Imperial, Pennsylvania. Damon McDermott, Jack Ridenauer, Susie Cool hanging out with you. Thanks for enjoying this evening with us on Sportsnet Pittsburgh. Passion inching closer to a semifinal appearance. So they're 2 minutes away from it.
And I always joke, we got the easy jobs. We come up here and talk.
We do.
And then
I
everybody
told
else
Jake
makes
that.
our job way easier.
Yes.
And I mean, we have to compliment our crew every single week. They're doing such an amazing job and make our lives way easier. And they give you all these amazing angles, all these replays. And I mean, it's unbelievable how our crew, even through all the weather today, made it look so awesome here for everybody watching at home.
Yeah, they definitely do a fantastic job. Really, Damon, you don't have to have your hand held. I sometimes have to have my hand held, so thank you, Jake, for doing that. But anyways, penalty is against the Blaze, so it does move things forward for Pittsburgh. Inside of 2 minutes to go. And the Passion continuing to show why they have been the gold standard in the Pro Division. Like mentioned, getting closer to that rematch with the DC Divas, a team that they have gone back and forth with, not just this year, but in recent memory. Smith follows blockers, keeps the balance, and tight ropes out of bounds inside the 10. First and goal for Pittsburgh.
See, Ari Smith wants one more touchdown, tried to keep her feet in bounds there, but again, biggest storyline here, keep everybody healthy, get everybody ready for that second matchup we keep talking so much about. But again, what a performance by the Passion. We didn't know what we were going to see in this game. A team they've never played before. You only get to see what you saw on tape, and it can be completely different when you get on the field. But I mean, what a dominant win. Probably the biggest margin of victory we're going to see in this first round of playoffs from all the scores I've checked so far. So the Passion putting the league on notice, like, hey, we're not going anywhere. We're going to be here every single year, and this is a year that we could win it all.
Without question. Chris Garayua now in at quarterback. And it looks like we might be getting closer to victory formation.
Does it look like the Mile High didn't really know that was victory formation to start, so it looks like everybody will take a big deep breath here and we'll get one more snap, and then the Passion will get to celebrate at least a little bit for this big playoff win once again.
Final 32 seconds tick down, and Pittsburgh, a wire-to-wire win. Showed the dominance from the first offensive possession with Cody Johnson reeling in the opening touchdown pass from Marcelina Chavez. And from that point on, Pittsburgh never looked back. 48-6. Teresa Kahn is a happy head coach for good reason, as her Passion are moving on in the playoffs and set up a rematch with the DC Divas for the National Conference title.
What a game once again. I mean, as soon as, like you said, this game started, the offense, 4-play touchdown to start this game, and then since then you couldn't slow them down at all. The Pittsburgh Passion have only dropped one game this year, and they're going to try to avenge that one loss here in 2 weeks. Again, we'll be on the call. It'll be at the same stadium, and I know the whole league will be counting down the days for that rivalry matchup. One more time, the Pittsburgh Passion versus the DC Divas. It's going to be must-watch television, and we can't wait for it in 2 weeks.
Without question, should be a really good one, and especially the fact that these teams have also 2 weeks to prepare for it.
Yeah, so the first time I was telling you some history. So Pittsburgh went to DC, won that game. DC 2 weeks later come to Pittsburgh, and they won that game 22-19. They came off of a bye week, though, and again, we're not saying, hey, if the Passion got their bye week, it would have been a completely different story, but that is an advantage. We see it in every form of football, from high school all the way to the pro divisions in the NFL and the WFA. If you get a bye week, it helps you. You get to watch a little bit more film. You get the rest up. Passion, we're dealing with some injuries, but right now it seems like everybody's healthy and ready to go, and it's going to be a heck of a game here in 2 weeks as we see the faithful celebrating a big win And they'll be celebrating here tonight, maybe a little bit longer than the Passion. Like we said, I think they're going to watch this game tomorrow. They're going to be happy, and then it's right back to work after that.
Without question, they definitely have a big goal in mind, the Passion that is, and that is to win a national championship. If I'm not mistaken, Damon, that will be played on July 28th, at the end of the month in Canton, Ohio, at the Football Hall of Fame.
And I think it's a kickoff to the viewer watching on ESPN's, because you got that, and then a week later you start the preseason with the Hall of Fame game. So I think they do a great job pretty much kicking off, as a lot of people would say, the football season start. But again, we're watching WFA all summer long, but that's where they really get to showcase the league, and I know the Passion want to be there in that game here, and then what that would be in 4 weeks from now. So they got to win one more game. But look at all the happy faces. You took care of business here today. You get to play your arch rival here in 2 weeks, and then if you make it there, you get to go to Canton, which these girls, these women, if you talk to them all throughout the year, they talk about it since week 1. That's the goal. That's all they care about. Passion have done everything else in this league. They want to win another championship. As I know Susie's still trying to get her interview ready to go down at the field after all the celebrations. Looks like we're close to getting her.
We'll send it down to Susie Cool, who's with Paige Bragg.
Thanks, Jack. Paige, an offensive effort by the Passion here today. Where were you locked in the most offensively?
I think everywhere, honestly. I mean, you have to stay locked in all the time. Ready to go.
I have to ask about this. D. Harris on that interception, taking it for a 103-yard touchdown. What were the emotions and vibes like on the sideline in that moment?
That was crazy. But I'm not surprised. D is so amazing. Like, if anybody was going to do that, it's her. She's crazy. It was great.
You guys must already know you're going to be taking on the DC Divas here in 2 weeks. So how do you start to prepare for them?
Honestly, I think the same we have all season. We stay locked in every practice. We give everything we have and just execute when time comes.
Well, great job out there today, Paige. Congratulations. Jack, Damon.
Susie, thanks so much. As the sun sets on Mile High season, but the Passion taking off and flying high thanks to their offensive performance. What a beautiful shot. If you are at home, screenshot that and get that painted somewhere, as we have wrapped this one up from West Allegheny High School. 48-6. Pittsburgh is moving on in the playoffs. For our entire crew here today, our director Corey Berger, our producer Jake Mislipchik, and our entire JRM crew, for Susie Cool, Damon McDermott, and Jack Ridenauer, signing off. Never saying goodbye. Never saying goodbye. Just a see you later. Right here and only on Sportsnet Pittsburgh.